What's up? What's up? How's everybody doing? Hopefully, everybody's having a great day. Welcome to RossonARI TV. We already got a few guests in the house in the forum today. We have Ace. What's up, Asen? How you doing, my friend?
I'm good. How y'all doing?
Great, thank you. We got Rock. What's up, bruh?
What's up, guys?
How you doing, man? And we got Nathan. What's up?
How's it going? Can you hear me?
Very well, very well. I just realized that the intro to the Milan Forum has Maldini at the end. So I think I got to change that now and put like some matrix numbers there instead. A computer or data or zealous analytics.
Why don't you put a picture of Christian Pulisic in this USA kit?
Oh, yeah. He's coming. He is coming. Captain America is coming 100%. Okay, so let's get straight into it. Let's start with the softer topics, and then we'll get into the more heartfelt topics. Let's start with the Brahim Diaz. Brahim Diaz says he's ready to say goodbye to Milan. His dream move awaits at Real Madrid. Finally, after Real Madrid has parked Diaz for 3 years in the Milan garage, finally they get to bring out Diaz into the wild, I guess, and they get to use him. So how do you guys feel about this? Where are we with this? Rock, you go first. Tell me how you feel about this situation.
So he's back to his number 21 kit. I don't know how Madrid's going to play next season and who their coach will be. So that will be interesting to watch to see what kind of player Diaz is going to be in that squad, what role he's going to play, if he's going to play at all. He's just one of those strange players, kind of like Salamakers. Very hard to put a finger on. I don't know what kind of player he's going to be. I don't really know what his best position is. I remember when he joined Milan, it took him quite a while to even take Real Madrid out of his bio and put Milan into his personal bio on social media. So, I think he did fall in love with Milan during the time that he was here, but his heart was always set on Madrid. So, good for him. We'll see how it goes. My prediction is he's going to have a bit part role for Real Madrid next season. He's not going to play a lot. I don't think he's the type of player that Madrid is going to be excited to use. Just his head's always down. He's not connecting. I don't know. I think there's a possibility he can come back in a year or two, but I'm happy with this. I'm ready to move on from this player and look ahead.
All right. Okay. Yeah. Listen, I'm going to go next one. I'll give the word to Nathan, and then we'll finish with Asen. For me, I like Diaz as a player. I really think that if he stayed at Milan, he could have, continued to develop and have a bright future. I just fucking hated the fact that he was never ours. He belonged to Real Madrid, and Real Madrid was just using us to develop him for them. It's like the way we're using Lecce to develop Colombo, the way we're using Spezia to develop Maldini, etc., Nasty, Cosenza, and all of these situations. So the fact that Real Madrid has a privilege to use a club like Milan to develop their players just says how big of a club Real Madrid is, first of all, and where we are at. But I just did not like that situation at all. So I'm happy this is over with. Nathan, what do you think?
I think he never said that Madrid was never not going to be his overall dream. He's always stated multiple times that, Madrid has always been in his heart. He always wants to play for them. So, cool. I'm glad he gets to go back. But unfortunately, like many of us have been saying for multiple years now, we need a cam. When Hakan was leaving, I said we have 0 cams that we technically own. And now who knows what we're going to do now, because Kamada's looks like he's not coming. So, we're kind of in trouble at the moment.
Yeah. What about you, Asen? How do you feel about the situation, the Diaz situation?
I'm actually kind of happy that he's going back to Real Madrid. I kind of always had a little bit of a problem with him in the sense that like he felt entitled to the number 10 shirt when he came to Milan, and he never lived up to the expectations of the shirt. So for me, I'm happy that he's gone back. You know, he's been very inconsistent over the stint that he's been at Milan. So I'm looking forward to seeing, you know, how he gets on at Real Madrid now.
Yeah, yeah. We got guys. By the way, if you want to join the WhatsApp group, so you can participate in the forum and etc., just go to my Instagram. I put the handle right here in the chat, and send me a message, and then I'll get you on. And if you want to join today, do the same thing. Just send me a message in my Instagram, and I will do that for you. I'll get you on today. We got
I don't know if that's a good thing. Okay, sorry.
Oh,
yeah,
here,
yeah.
what's Hans?
Let me give you
Yo.
guys. Let me give you a disclaimer. The
Wait,
WhatsApp
is Hans here?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ! Here we go.
Let me give you a disclaimer, guys. The WhatsApp group is the wild west of hell. So just letting you know, it's a pretty wild place to be at. Anyway, we got Hans, the man, the myth, the legend, the scout, Erdman in the house. What's up, bro? How you doing? What do you feel about this Diaz situation?
I wish he would stay, honestly, but I understand he's a Madrid player. It's his dream to play for Madrid, so yeah, it makes sense that he's gonna go. I wish he was staying. Honestly, I would pay 20 million for him gladly, easily. Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's it. Nothing else. You will? Did you say you would want to keep him? You said.
Absolutely. I would want to keep him.
Okay.
Why? I don't know how anybody would want to throw him out. Like, he had how many goal contributions? Like, his speed, his strength, all looked like it went up exponentially last season. Like,
Let me
the
just
runs that he was making with the ball, the goals that he did, they were fantastic. I mean, okay, sometimes he doesn't have his head up, you know. But in that last game, he had some great assists. Honestly, like you know it's in there.
Hans, you mean against 20th place Sampdoria?
Well, you know it's in there with Brahim. You know he's got it in him.
You would have been
23.
You were willing. You would be willing to spend 60% of your transfer budget on him. I just did the numbers. 60% of your budget.
Considering he plays in 3 of our attacking positions, he can play left wing, he can play right wing, he can play cam. Yeah, I don't see a reason not to spend 20 million on him. Absolutely, I would have spent 20 million on him. If that's, you know, if that was even what they were asking for. I don't think Madrid were asking for that.
Hans, I'm going to say this in the nicest way possible as your friend.
Well,
you are not allowed to choose any more cam signings and how much we spend for them.
Yeah.
So focus on Indica and maybe some defensive targets. No more cam for you.
But to Hans' defense, he is correct that Diaz is accustomed to the Serie A and he is able to play in multiple positions in Pioli's tactical.
And it's only
setups.
20 million, you guys.
No. If our budget was 80 million, like it should be minimum, I would say spend 20 million on Diaz. But with the 35 million budget, which is 20 million is 60% of our budget.
What are you gonna do? Buy like 5?
And also, Diaz
players?
isn't 20 million. Aren't they asking for 30?
Well,
yeah, they are.
So
30
it's not
60%.
It's 95% of our budget.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Let me get to the next guy. I want to hear what Giovanni just joined us. What's up, Giovanni? How you doing, my man?
What's going on, guys? Pleasure to be back.
Awesome.
What's up,
Pleasure
man?
to have you back. What about you? What do you think about the Diaz situation? Do you agree with what you're hearing, or you're happy he's gone? What do you?
To be honest, we should have signed him when we first got him. Now it's obviously too late. Real Madrid won too much, but for the time, I think they wanted 20, 30 million. I would have gave him 20, 30 million for Diaz. He's young. He's got a lot of potential. And like Buddy said, he could play in a couple positions, right? Like now we have a lot of holes. Like we have to replace Diaz. We've never replaced Kessie.
or
We need
or
we need
Hakan.
we need a right winger. Like we have a lot of holes now, right? And Diaz potentially was filling a couple of those holes, right? Like
Yeah.
I'm not liking this Loftus Cheek. I don't want anything to do with that guy. Like I don't want him coming to Milan whatsoever. 18 million, 20 million. I think you could spend the money elsewhere than get Loftus Cheek.
Okay. All right. Loud and clear. So, what about you, Rohit? What's up, Rohit? How you doing, my man?
I'm great. I'm great. Thanks for having me.
No problem. Thank you for joining us. What about you? I saw in chat you're writing that you sound like you're happy Diaz is no more in the Milan plans, in the Milan spreadsheet.
I wouldn't have paid more than 5 million for him. I mean, I was one of the guys who was very big on Diaz when he joined us 3 seasons back. But 3 seasons after his joining here in Milan, my question is, what has he improved on? Has he improved on his shooting? No. Has he improved on his dribbling? No. Has he improved on his vision? No. Has he improved on his passing? No. I mean, in fact, I think he has regressed rather than improved. When I'm looking at Juventus, when I looked at that Juventus game that we won 3-0 2 seasons back, he has actually regressed from that performance. Like it's like he has this burst of like 2-3 games where I think finally maybe this is the Diaz, this is the player with the potential and those kind of things. But then again, he goes back into a lull for 10 games. Like example against Napoli, the way he dribbled past two defenders and he set up that Ismail Benassa goal. After that, again he's gone missing for like 10 games. So like it's like Diaz for me. He underhits a lot of passes. His decision making is terrible. I really don't see what Maldini saw in him if he wanted to actually take this guy back. Because for me, I think for 20 million we can actually get much better players than him.
Okay. All right. So that's a pretty loud and clear. Hans, you made a face when Rohit said 5 million. What was that all about?
I mean, I think it's laughable. 5 million. I mean, obviously he's exaggerating to get his point across, but that's crazy. This guy was keeping up with Kevin De Bruyne in the second half of the season. He was keeping up with KDB, the man, the myth, the legend.
I mean, if you're actually solely looking at the numbers, I mean, if you're looking only at goals and assists, then it might make sense. But if you're actually looking at what he brings to the game, then I really don't see anything. And most of his goals have always been tap-ins. I haven't seen anybody.
Rohit, he does a lot of work off the ball. He does
had
a lot of fucking work.
But
what do
as
you
an
mean only
attacking
numbers? He
midfielder,
does work off the ball and he puts up numbers.
as an attacking
Rohit,
midfielder,
can I ask you a question?
as an attacking
Okay,
midfielder, when you're playing a 4-2-3-1, when you're playing a 4-2-3-1 and as an attacking midfielder, I mean, I understand that in Pioli's system that everybody has to press, but as an attacking midfielder, his job is to play between the lines and to connect the defense to attack. What has he done in terms of that?
Rohit, can I ask you? Let me answer some of these things.
I
real
mean,
quick.
the assists you could say he's done quite a lot. Just looking at his assists and his goals that he scored, he's done quite a lot.
Like what goals has he scored? What goals has he scored?
Oh man.
Well, he had a 50-goal contribution this year.
He's shown moments of brilliance, Diaz. You can't take that away from him. You can't. Like he's been a good factor of the team through the past 2 years.
Yeah,
like,
but for every Napoli game, for every Napoli brilliance that he had an open goal miss against Cremonese.
I'm with Rohit.
But that happens, dude. That's soccer. The ball jumps before your foot. Things happen, right?
For every positive chance that Diaz created, He fucked up 10 others. He can't break down low blocks. He can't play against top teams and strong midfields. He's extremely limited. He did well.
Let me say something.
well
Let me say
in-
something about this.
He
Maybe
did
Italy
well.
just isn't a fucking piece of cake. Maybe
He did
Italy
well,
just isn't a
and
piece of cake.
he did well against teams who played completely open and provided him with space, and that's it. He didn't do
No,
well in any. He did not do well in any other context whatsoever.
When Rockets done
And that does not even know how to strike the ball.
No,
I'm done. I'm ready to move on from this player, guys. I'm grateful for what he did. Grateful for what he did for us. Ready to move on.
Yeah,
All right, Nathan,
I
Nathan,
agree.
go next, and then Giovanni, you can reply. Nathan, go next because you've been asked.
So Diaz has improved each year that he's been with us. I understand that as a cam, you're supposed to play in between the lines and break down low blocks. But in a 4-2-3-1, if your two double pivots are not within 15 or so yards of the cam, it's not going to happen. If your right wingers are incapable of doing their job, overlapping, give and go, it's not going to happen. If your center forward is incapable of holding the ball up or giving a proper layoff, it's not going to happen. Diaz is giving passes where the winger or the forward is supposed to be making those runs. But if they can't do it, then it's going to look bad on him. But those passes are not incorrect.
Nathan, watch him go to Real Madrid and do those same passes for Vinicius Jr.
Yes, because
or whoever.
you in a 4-2-3-1, you have to be very athletic in this formation. The 4-2-3-1 is a defensive formation first and foremost. It's not an offensive formation. If you want it to be offensive, you have to have players like at City or Madrid or Bayern Munich. All of those players are athletically gifted and as well as technically gifted. If you don't have that in all of those positions, you're gonna fail. That's just the nature of it.
Haven't you always said, though, that this 4-2-3-1 is a tactic that works against smaller teams when you're the bigger team, though?
No, because actually, no. It's actually the opposite. Because in a 4-2-3-1, you don't have the midfield presence to actually shift the defense from side to side. So if you notice, when we switch the field, we go one player at a time. There isn't a string of intricate plays. The few times that we saw the team put together give and go passes,
I think
phenomenal.
when we judge players, we actually see the end result rather than the process.
And what's the job of a cam? Is the job of a cam to create or score goals first? What is his primary job first?
It depends. It depends on team to team. But in this situation, when you're playing a 4-2-3, if you're playing a 4-2-3-1, I think his job is to be between the lines and score.
And he exactly. And
I have seen him actually. I actually seen him being between the lines and fucking up a lot of passes.
When the double pivot is higher up. You're right. When the double pivot is higher up and closer to the action, you see him become more efficient because you can only guard so many players.
I'm not even.
My question is, who do you replace him with? Yeah, he showed moments.
That's the question.
And he's gotten bodied off the ball, like Buddy said. He's very weak on the ball, 100%. Well, who do you replace him with?
Giovanni, that's the question right there. Because we should have gotten a replacement when we had both Hakan and Diaz, so that way we could have been preparing him these 3 years. But instead of doing that, this is one of the mistakes that we made, was not getting a cam that is technically gifted that we own. So now we're struggling to find somebody when it should have been done 3 to 4 years ago. That's a big mistake.
So we were going after Gundogan, we were going after SMS, and apparently, and I'm not a huge fan of Ruben Loftus-Cheek, by the way. That was already a done deal.
No, Rock, 3 years ago, though.
All three of those names now, with the departure of Maldini, all three of those names are gone out the window.
Yeah, but Rock,
all right, guys,
Rock,
listen, we have a lot of topics to talk about today. So, we've heard I want to just finish with Guido because there's a lot of players we need to talk about today. I don't want to spend too much time on one player. We get the idea. Everybody here, we get the idea. I wanted to go to Guido, but he left. Okay. Let's go to the next player, guys. Everybody's is clear what you guys are saying, so we don't need to, keep on going with this.
Yeah,
What about
fair enough.
Captain America, guys? Captain America
No.
is saying
Hell
that
to the no.
he wants to reduce his salary. He's going to become the new mascot of this team. He is American. The ownership is American. I think there's a marketing value to that. So what do we think of the great and only Captain America? Go ahead, Rock, you start.
Me first?
Yes, because you're wearing the Captain
You got
America.
the
I'm wearing-
USA
I'm
jersey
wearing-
on.
America.
I'm wearing the Captain America uniform.
Yeah,
I think Christian Pulisic is going to take Milan Labs to the next level, guys. He is going to test Milan Labs like they have never been tested before. I think some of the issues with American players that have been rumored are like they don't have that real competitive winning like DNA of lifting trophies, and then also that they're tactically limited because of the way that they just learned the game. Now, Christian Pulisic was exposed to European football at a very young age, and then his father is like an extremely competitive like person who has been pushing him since he was a little kid to be a winner. The entire country, the USMT, puts all of the pressure and weight on his shoulders every single international competition. Every ball is played through him. He takes every free kick, every penalty. He takes corners. So I will say that if he were 100% healthy and fit, he could be useful as a signing on low wages. But my hopes are like really low for Christian Pulisic. My expectations are extremely low. He would have to like defy logic and gravity to actually be a success at Milan, in my opinion.
Wow.
So we would have to wait and see.
Gotcha. Okay. Antonio, since you didn't speak earlier, let's get you on this one. What about you? What do you think? What do you make of these links with Captain America? Are you for it or no?
Overall, I would say I'm against it. I would just say that I do want us to, now that Diaz is leaving, get someone to play in the cam role, someone who could ideally be a starter. So I want to see someone come in, and Pulisic, I just don't really know how to judge him. He never really has had a super prolific season. I don't know what his numbers are at Dortmund. Maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like when I watch him, he moves well, but he's just not. I don't know if he'd be an improvement to Diaz. I'll put it that way. Although he's like a little bit bigger, he's very mobile, which is kind of similar, but I don't think his end product is a lot better than Diaz's. It would be interesting, but I would much rather go for like another name. I don't know if I'd prefer Kamada to him, to be honest. It's kind of tough, but Kamada seems like, I don't know. Kamada has like good moments from what I see when I watch him play, but he also is kind of like on and off. So I don't know if he's going to be as consistent as maybe Pulisic is. I think Pulisic is better at pressing and moving. So I don't know. I think I would explore other options first, but yeah,
Okay.
I wouldn't be excited about Pulisic.
Let's go to Nathan next. What about you? How do you feel about the Pulisic links? As you say, Gazzetta dello Sport says Chelsea winger open to Milan move and willing to take a pay cut. By the way, this is a player that we would have to pay for right away because his contract has not expired, similar to the SMS situation.
Pulisic is a good player. He does have good foot skill and movement. We know he can handle pressure because he's played in World Cups. He's helped Chelsea win a Champions League final. So he's fine under pressure. The problem is his injuries. His injuries are a huge problem. And if we could get him on loan to see if he can even survive a year in Serie A, because I don't think people realize that in England you have a ton of time on the ball. in Italy, you get closed down so quickly. Like it's really, really different. So if we can get him on loan first with like an option to buy, that would be fantastic. But to outright buy without knowing what he can do in Italy or stay healthy, man, you're just asking for trouble. If we're gonna get an American, it should be Balogun for an assortment of different reasons in terms of marketing. But I would go for Balogun instead.
Got you. Okay. So you are open to the idea under certain conditions. What about you, Hans? How do you feel about Pulisic?
I think Rock covered it pretty well. That he's a fairly good player, but the injuries, man, the injury problems are real with this kid. Yeah, and for that reason alone, I think we should just steer clear. Honestly,
You would not even consider him for your spreadsheets, huh? Not even a bit.
I mean, this is like a D level signing to me.
A D level.
Because he's on very high wages right now. I know he says he's gonna drop them down, but I mean, I don't think he'll drop them down that much.
I think the numbers I saw was pretty much what Leao is getting, something like that.
Yeah, exactly. That's a lot. That's a lot.
A loan would be an interesting move where Chelsea covers a portion of his wages, like Nathan suggested. He did have 9 goals in that campaign where they won the Champions League, but yeah, the injuries. The injuries.
In Premier League.
Here's the thing: he only has 1 year left on his contract, so I think a loan is out of the question. They're gonna want to, get money for him.
I thought he had more than just 1 year. Bro,
I think it's 2024.
Just wait,
yeah,
man. Just wait.
All right, let's go to Giovanni next. What do you think about Captain America? Are you all for it? Do you want to bring freedom to Milan?
You know what? if the price is right, it's worth a shot because he's still young. He's done very well at Dortmund. He had a first good year at Chelsea. Maybe his second year was a little slow because he didn't really fit in with the new coach. But if the price is right, I'd take him. Why not? I still think I'm not saying he's washed. I'm not going to write him off just yet. I would take him if the price is right.
Okay. And whenever he was healthy at Chelsea and playing regularly, he was one of their better players.
Yeah, he's
so
good.
I'll say that.
I'm not going to write him off. No way. He's still too young to write him off. Okay, he's had a couple bad injuries, but
go
ahead.
With the World Cup coming to the U.S. and there's a marketing opportunity, I think. I feel like this is more of a marketing PR move than it is a sporting move.
This is data analytics algorithm thinking about money, etc.
This is money, yeah. This is the finance algorithm, not the sporting results algorithm.
Exactly.
Let's go to Ace. What about you, my man? How do you feel about Captain America? Do you want freedom or no?
Freedom has a cost, right? And the cost has to be right. So once we could get him for under 15 million, I'm all for it. The issue with him comes down to where is he going to play in our team. Just to touch on Brahim, I kind of feel like Pioli doesn't always have the best ideas for optimizing players. And Brahim is somebody that should have played, to me, on maybe on a wide right side. And so I'm a little bit confused as to where they're going to fit Pulisic into this team. Because when he was at Dortmund, he liked to play on the wings, preferably on the left side, because he's right-footed. He likes to cut in. So, and we have that side covered already with Leao. So, to me, it's more about where he fits into the team. I'm not opposed to it, and also the price.
Yeah, because we don't need another situation where we get a player like CDK who's a false 9, and we say, oh, well, he can play cam as well. Pulisic, like you said, plays primarily on the wings. So don't play him as a cam. That'd be stupid.
Yeah. I'm not a big fan of his operation either, guys. I think none of us here are super excited about these operations. In general, like all these post-Maldini names, I don't think they're really anything special, right? I don't know if maybe someone disagrees with that. We are going to talk about them because we are going to be talking about Thuram, and we're going to be talking about Indica next. So that might start a few debates also. Let's go to the Indica situation. So Indica right now is being contested by Roma and Milan. Roma was already trying to get Indica, and it seems like Milan is trying to hijack the operation. Indica being a left-footed center back that can also play left back, very good player. Player that Maldini was looking to get already last year. They tried to kind of see what the possibilities were. So right now, an article from Mediaset came out saying that it is possible that Milan might sell either Kalulu or Tomori to get Indica in if they are able to convince Indica to join Milan over Roma. So let's start with you, Hans, since you're very pro Indica. How do you feel? How do you feel about this operation?
Man, I mean, selling Tomori for Indica, that seems crazy to me because Tomori, we're talking about like a 60 million euro player, in my opinion. Like for the Premier League, that's a 60 million player. So to get Indica on free, I mean, I expect a lot of money to be pumped into the transfer market then, not just Indica, if that's going to happen. With Kalulu, same thing. I mean, I would expect like 25 million for Kalulu, and we're getting this guy for free. So I would expect Indica and like Singo to come in or something like that if that's what we're going to do, sell Kalulu. Because in my opinion, I think what should happen is we just get Indica, we sell Balo Toure, and Indica is going to be playing, you know, as the center back, and then sometimes when Theo needs a rest, he can slot it at left back, and then Gabia can go out on loan and be prepared to come back when Kier retires, I guess next year. That would be my plan.
I think the selling Kalulu doesn't make any sense because Kalulu is literally a mirror version of Indica. Kalulu is a right center back that can also play a right back, while Indica is literally the opposite of the left. I think the sacrificial lamb here is going to be Tomori, guys. And, I've been saying this. It kind of looks like it's going towards that direction. And if they do sell Tomori, they're probably going to use that money to buy Pulisic, Captain America. I don't know. All right. What about Nathan? How do you feel about this?
I'm fine with the Indica coming. They need to just go ahead and sell Tomori because Tomori has not improved on a tactical level. He's actually regressed from the season and a half that we got him. So, I mean, I'd be fine with Indica coming in, get 50 or so mil for Tomori, and our starting center back should be Chow and Indica.
Okay. Got you. Giovanni, what about you?
I wouldn't sell any of our defense, to be honest. I think our defense is probably the strongest part of our team. If we can bring them in for free to lighten the load up for Theo Hernandez, and then maybe sub in, play different competitions like the Coppa Italia or even throughout the league, you rotate him into a center back. That's no problem. But I'm not selling Kalulu. I'm not selling Tomori. I'm not selling Chow. I think those guys are rock solid pieces to the defense, and going forward, your future's only brighter with those guys, to be honest. So if he can come in and lighten the load on Theo, that's a win-win to me.
Yeah, I was just going to say I completely, wholeheartedly agree with Gio. We've been crying about the depth of our squad and being able to compete on multiple fronts. So to sell one of your key players, starting 11 players, in order to bring in a free transfer, and then the likelihood that this management isn't not going to reinvest all of the funds from that sale back into the market. And if you think that that's how it works, they're just going to reinvest all the money. This is not FIFA. It's not going to work like that. I think it leaves us short in the defensive department next season, and it's a bit short-sighted. I would say sign the guy on a free and keep your current defenders if you can.
Yeah, like to me, it doesn't make sense. Sorry to cut you off. It doesn't make sense
You're good.
to sell those those three that I mentioned, Kalulu, Chow, and Tamori. Like those guys, dude, if you look at them on the pitch, like Chow came in, bro, and this guy looks calm as like he's played 10 years in the City A. Like even when he came in the Champions League when they subbed him in for Kier because he got hurt. Like these guys are good to have when people get hurt, and their stock's only going up, in my opinion.
No, I
I
wouldn't sell
don't.
anyone, guys. I wouldn't sell anyone. But Nathan, I do want you to debate. But let me go first to Antonio, and then
Yeah,
Ace,
yeah, yeah.
and then let's open the floor for debate. Antonio, how do you feel about this situation?
Yeah, so I remember last summer I was like I think you and I were both like on a live when we were first linked with him and we were watching some of his clips. I mean, I was really impressed by what I saw because, just like from the highlights, just because he can score with his head, he can shoot. He seems to have decent finishing and decent ball control, and he's I think 6'4". He's really tall and he's very pacey too. So he has like as a profile, he's really really impressive. And I would be all for it. I don't want to sell. I would have to agree with like a few of the people here. I don't want to sell anyone to bring him in just because I like I think maybe Rock said it. We need to be working on like our depth and not be like replacing our players at this point. So maybe I can see a Kjaer who's 8 on the older side, him coming in to replace Kjaer. I don't know what the future of Gabia is yet, but if we imagine having like a rotation of Tomori, Kalulu, Chow, and Indica. I mean, that would be a very, very solid back four. I think we'd all love that. So for me, I think that would be the best. And if we had to sell someone, I agree, it would most likely be Tomori. I hope we get this done. I don't think we need to sell anyone to get it done because he is a free transfer. It would just be in terms of like the rotation, I guess, how that fits in the squad. But he can also play left back, so I think there's plenty of room for him. I don't know. I think if the management sold Tomori for 60 million and they got him on a free, maybe that could also open up like the rest of the Mercato for us to bring in some other really, really interesting players too, though. So I don't know. It depends on all these circumstances, but ideally, I think we should keep Tomori. I think he's fine. I think also that the missing Magnan had a big, big part in this season, and I don't want to blame him entirely, for all that, like those weird performances. I think he'll be better next year for sure.
All right. Okay, and then let's go to Ace, and then Nathan, if you want to, open up the debate, go ahead.
Okay.
Ace, what's your opinion on Dika and what we just spoke about, and Tomori, etc.?
I like Indica. He's a profile that Maldini followed and actually wanted to bring to the club. And I believe that Maldini has a good eye for talent in the defense department, especially. So I have no problem with him coming, but I do have an issue with any of these free transfers coming in. And from what I'm seeing in the rumors is that they're talking about giving them higher wages, giving them top wages and starting spots. And my issue is really when it comes to the wages, because we have a wage cap. Apparently we have a wage cap. So Indica's coming and he's going to ask for, maybe 5 million euros a year, whatever it is. And it's just like, we have Kalulu, who's going to be coming up for renewal just now. And he's won a league for Milan and he's proven himself for the club. So what happens to those players that need to be renewed? That just messes up the wage gap for me. So my issue with Indica is mostly around what wages we're going to pay him. And other than that, like I think we do need to add some more depth because Kjaer is not getting any younger, and we're gonna have to replace him sooner. So I'm okay with it once the wages aren't ridiculous,
Yeah. It's good that you brought that up because reports are saying that one of the things that they're using to convince Indica and also Thuram is that they're going to give them top wages of the club. Maldini is not there, so they can't use that anymore. So they have to use money. Nathan, go ahead.
Okay.
I want people to understand. I don't want to sell anyone. In fact, I've said multiple times, even this summer, I don't want the team to sell anybody. However, the department in which Milan has the least backup in is offense. We have 0 cams. Our strikers are old and Origi, and our right winger, Matthias, is probably leaving, and Salesmakers, it looks like he's on the fence of leaving. So in the right now we're facing the crisis of our starting 11, not even backup. Our starting 11 is not complete. I don't care about if we have backup in defense if you don't have a complete starting 11. You complete the starting 11 first, then you worry about getting backups for your team. So unfortunately, if selling Tomori means out of the 60 million we get 30 additional to spend, that's what needs to happen so we can actually have a competitive team that won't embarrass us in the Champions League or not make top 4. So I don't want the selling one, but that's just what's going to have to happen, unfortunately.
Okay, Hans, you're about to say something?
I was going to say that I've read that Indica is going to get 2.5 million net from Roma. That's what they're offering right now, what he accepted from them.
Really?
Can I say one thing? I am concerned in a sense because I know we all really rate him highly, but if he's really on a free, leaving on a free, and that's the offer he accepted, like why aren't any other big clubs going after him right now? I'm a little concerned. And I forgot to say this earlier when I was speaking. Although I do like him and I would like him in the team overall, I do wonder if Frankfurt play completely different tactically and very much more attacking style in Germany, open. They concede a good amount of goals, and whenever I watch Frankfurt, he doesn't particularly stand out. So I don't know. He's not I'm not saying it's his fault or anything for them conceding goals, but he's kind of not. I don't know. Sometimes his positioning maybe not as good. I'm guessing. So there must be some reason why he's not sought after.
Let me ask you this: out of all the top teams who are in fighting for Champions League, so I guess 1 through 6, how many of them need a defender?
I mean, this guy's a kind of a rare sort of profile. I feel like if he was a very good player, he would find room in one of these teams.
Right, but it's not about finding room. It's about what the team is lacking first before you go with what's second.
I'm sure there are teams that are going to look for defenders this summer. I mean, obviously, I don't know the details of every team, but I'm sure that they are. It is kind of telling that, a Europa League team like Roma is, the one that is closest to him.
Mhm.
And he accepted the offer really early. That means that he probably hasn't heard much about other teams coming in, because then he would have waited potentially.
Listen,
but if he's not a priority, then if he's not a priority of the other top teams, and we're the first, and us and Roma are the first ones to get there, that's just we're taking advantage of the fact that he might be a third most important part of the transfer budget for other top teams.
Don't let it fool you, you guys. Don't let that fool you.
Or they're looking at other profiles. But listen, I did see Frankfurt play against Napoli, and I do remember, in particular, keeping an eye on Indica because he is a player that me and Antonio looked at last year, and we were really impressed because he does have qualities. Like for a defender, he's very technical, and he scores nice goals too as a defender, and he's a player that is versatile. So this is a player that does bring you qualities and can bring you some good stuff. But I also got to say that I saw Politano and Lozano, pretty much twist him up like a pretzel a bunch of times, and he had a tough time containing those two guys. So I don't think he's going to come to Italy and just be, it's going to take a little bit of time for him to adapt to the football in Italy, I think.
True.
Yeah, or another part of this is maybe Maldini knows what to look for in defenders, and there's a reason where he wasn't after him. So we'll
come on.
We'll have to see. Maybe Maldini knows more about the potential of defenders than we do. I would think he's a bit more.
Like Paulo Touré?
I would
Just a
Like
little
Paulo
bit.
Touré.
I would think
Just a little bit.
he's a
Rock,
bit
just
more
a little-
informed on the subject.
but just a little bit more informed.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Balotelli was a
Christian, I'm
Mikado.
always right, Christian.
No,
Well,
with
it's
guys,
not-
Indica is a fantastic transfer for us.
It's
It
just
would be
strange
fantastic.
that other leagues and other teams
Well,
were not after
okay,
him. On a free
he
transfer
hasn't-
with low wages is just a little bit concerning. You have to admit that. It's weird that more teams weren't.
He wants to be a starter. He wants to fucking start. And
Yeah.
I don't think he's getting that at the top clubs. He knows that.
That's what I'm saying. Like, look at the teams in Spain. Germany really only has 2 top teams, and then England and France only has 1.
Yeah, I mean,
Those
guys,
top teams are not looking for a center back.
Well, I don't know about that because Guardiola right now is a center back that is sought after by the top teams.
On top of that,
Yeah,
also
yeah,
a left
he
foot.
has
Man
one.
U's
mean,
also
I
looking
don't.
for
I'm just a bit
centre-back.
skeptical of that because he's also a left-footed, which is a bit rarer. He can play both positions. Look at his profile. I mean, for me, everything on paper is great about him. I don't know. Like, I guess could it be that he's not as effective in terms of his actual, for whatever reason.
I'm sure
There's
he
this
makes
player.
mistakes and he has to use his speed and his physicality to make up for it. I'm sure that's one of the things that they don't like is that he's not reading things sometimes as like a top player would.
And then, what are your thoughts on what Gio mentioned earlier about the fact that we're offering our highest wages and a starting role to new players who haven't even trained with the team? We don't even know how they're going to adapt to Italy. How do you feel about the fact, like how other players on our current squad will react and the human element to that?
It's the same as giving Dest 3 million or Rigi 4 million. It's terrible.
To me, I'm going to be honest with you. Although the idea in
see-
the long run isn't good, I'm not opposed to. I'm actually kind of optimistic about it, just because at least we're willing to give them high wages. Because I was really scared that the ownership or the new management would be super. Because all the reports said we're going to go to our strict wage cap, salary cap, 35 million budget, all of this stuff. So at least I'm a bit optimistic. that
Yeah,
they're
I'm
spending a bit
optimistic
more.
about
Guys-
that, but concerned about the starting role being guaranteed and how the reaction will be with the current squad.
No,
That's a little
I'm not optimistic about players coming from mid-table teams getting the highest wages. That is absolutely asinine. That is stupid. That is just pure stupid, guys. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But if you want to,
it's a free transfer. It's a free transfer.
That's the
so they're
issue,
going to
right?
ask for more.
yeah, that's
They're
the
going
thing.
to ask for more.
Because it's a free transfer, then the players usually ask for more.
Yeah.
But the
And,
high wages
honestly-
should go. Yeah, go ahead, Hans. Go ahead.
I was just
No,
gonna
no,
say it's 2.5 million net is what I've been reading. 2.5 million to 3 million net. That's what Roma we're giving him. So basically Calabria wages, because I'm sure with the growth decree it's gonna be, around the same.
I'd give
If
him that
Calabria
money,
gets
no
2 million.
problem. I'd give him 2.53 million.
Also, the article states clearly that
I
they're going to
agree.
give them top wages. However, Thuram is mentioned in the same sentence, and that's the guy who I think is going to demand a top salary, because I've read some articles about him from Inter websites, and they were saying that they were going to give him 10 million gross. That they
Yeah,
had
let him
offered
go to
10
Inter.
million
Then.
gross.
Let him go to Inter. There's no way.
So I
Just
think
say-
that's more the player that they're going to give top wages to. And again, it's a free transfer, and they were talking about a fairly young striker and who has a EU passport, and yeah, he's scoring lots of goals in Germany. So I mean, not to go into Thuram, I guess, but
I was going to say, are we pivoting the conversation to another target?
Could I just
Thuram,
make a
we
point to Antonio's statement about
Yes.
being optimistic about our club paying higher wages? Like, I have no problem with that, but there's gonna be some residual side of effects from that, right? Like, Kalulu and maybe Tonali and some of our core players that are starting right now. When it's their time to renew, they're gonna watch Indica and maybe Thuram come in and get 4 or 5 million, a year, and that's our ceiling. Like you all need to remember, we broke our salary cap to re-sign Leao for just 7 million. You know what I mean? So like if Indica comes and we offer him 3 million a year, when it's time for Kalulu to resign, what is he going to see? He's like, well, hey, I'm with more than Indica. I won a league for y'all and so on. So that's my concern with the whole wage structure that we're trying to like lure these new signings on.
We don't have
Go
to
ahead.
renew Kalulu or Tamori for a long time. So, or Teo, or Benny,
No,
or Benny,
Teo-
or Leao.
Well, that conversation is coming up soon. Before you'll know it, it's
So-
going to come.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, you don't have to think about that right now, I think. And like I said before, I don't think Indica is going to be on crazy wages. I think Tamori is going to be making more than him.
Okay, yeah. Let me say this. I think if we get Indica, keep our defenders
Absolutely.
and not use one of our best defenders as a sacrificial lamb to raise funds to buy a player in another position. I think that is a better move, my personal opinion, and I would be good with that. I am not okay with us selling Tomori to get Indica and then give Indica the highest wage of the defenders. I think that's a bad move. That's how I feel about it. Any concluding thoughts on this?
I don't see them paying them the highest wages. I don't see them doing that. I see them if Roma's offering them 2.5, 3 million, that's what Milan's going to offer.
Agreed. I agree with that.
Like there's no way they're going to overpay for that. They're already pinching pennies. You think they're going to just start throwing like 5 million to these guys? No, if Roma's offering 2.5, 3, Milan's going to be in the same ballpark.
Yeah, why would we?
Indica
We're
start-
not going to offer him 5 million a year. Like that's.
But does Indica start? Does he come into our team and walk on, like as one of these first names on the
I
sheet?
wouldn't start him right away. There's no reason to. He has to learn and
He
adapt
can compete
first.
with Tomori at left center back.
People come into teams, and if the coach sees that this guy's, let's say he's doing better than Tomori or Power, he's going to start. We're going to start the best 11 that we can. Him being there is for depth.
And Tomori needs
with
competition.
the injuries and the competition. We have 3 competitions next year. We need to have at least 4, 5 solid defenders that you can count on week in, week out, right?
And guys, listen, we saw this year how many games back to back. Like we always underestimate like this competition thing. There's so many games that, and like we were really struggling because maybe not in the defense as much, but in other positions at points of the season. Like every year we struggle with depth.
Wait. There's somebody's got a big echo going on.
It might be you, bro. I'm just saying.
No, it's not me.
Is it gone?
Yeah, it's gone.
Yeah, it's gone.
Yeah.
Okay, no, I just wanted to finish off by saying that we always get through to a point in the season where we're like, oh, and for whatever position we need more depth. And I think if like I think players like Tomori who played so many games last year could do with like a break midweek or over the weekend. Like there can be a lot of healthy rotation. I mean, I always stand for that. So and Indica can be there. The most important thing for me is the competition aspect, just because Tomori had a really poor year, and I think if you put and he usually plays left center back. If you put another left center back there, you start to at least have another option. Maybe up his game a little bit.
But those are good problems to have. Like if he comes in and then he like steals the show from like our defenseman like that, that's a good problem to have moving forward.
Guys, we have some breaking news here. According to Desna, this is Fabrizio Romano. Breaking news: AS Roma final Indica 4 million net salary per year plus signing bonus on a 5-year deal. Negotiations are very advanced now at final stages to get it done.
I'm about to say, like, Indica's pretty much done to Roma. Like, why waste time?
Well, they just raised their offer because it means that we're also negotiating.
Yeah, I just don't like. Each year we kind of do the same thing where we waste time on one player, and then when we could have been going for others.
Nathan. Okay,
Yeah.
Think about it though. They were offering to. I was reading Roma articles, and they were saying 2.5 million net. Now it's at 4 million net. So you're making your opponents, your rivals, have to pay more.
I agree with.
It's
I was
like-
gonna
this is-
say
this
that.
is a-
Roma
this is
has
like a
no
strategy
problem
game.
paying high wages.
I was
Right,
about,
right.
I
That's
was
what I was saying,
about
like,
to
Roma
say
does.
that.
No, Roy, this is like a
1,000
strategy game. You
IQ.
have to. It's like a war of attrition a little bit. And I hear the echo again. What the fuck is going on?
I think it's Guido. Guido's has.
I
an echo on his
understand
mic.
the war of attrition thing, but if you fail, we look like desperate children.
Listen, if 4 million net, let Roma keep him.
Yeah,
That's not what
It's like basically
I
Theo's,
tend to
Theo's
agree with
wager.
that, honestly. Because then you're talking about like offering him Giroud's salary, basically, which is kind of ridiculous.
Yeah. Like we cannot get mid-table players and then just give them the highest salary in the
I
team.
agree
These guys
with
have
that.
done nothing for Milan. They haven't even proved that they're Milan worthy, and you're giving them for me. At least with Origi, even though I thought that was insane, you can say Origi won a Champions League and he was instrumental in winning the Champions League. At least you can say that. But with these guys, you can't say any of that. So let Roma spend all of this money for them.
I agree. I'll agree to that.
Okay, guys, let's finalize the Indica situation with Guido if he wants to say anything about it, and then let's move to Thuram. Mr. Guido.
Hey guys, what's up? I
How
mean,
you doing,
I
sir?
wasn't following much. I had to, I couldn't hear the whole live. I don't know why you guys were wasting time about Diaz again. But and Indica seems good because he can play seems the left and the center D. But why we gotta bother Roma to make the price go higher? So we didn't care until now. Now we're gonna go bother. Let Roma care. They need the defense. We got so many defense. I don't think we need them. We need to focus on other position that we really need. I mean, of course, we talk, but we still don't know what's the budget, what they want to do. So we can talk forever, but it's not gonna make sense.
In my opinion, Guido, the reason why they decided to go on Indica and why Maldini didn't want to go on Indica, because Maldini obviously does not want to sell his children to Mori. Tomori is one of his children, pretty much. So because that's the situation is not like that anymore, they wanted to try and get Indica because they feel that Indica will be a good replacement for Tomori, sell Tomori to create funds, and then use those funds to maybe get a striker or something else. That's just an opinion, a speculation. That's why I think they're going to Indica.
But listen, Tomori, now me too, I can make the Tomori sometimes, but really, he's a good player, man. I mean, I don't know how much money because we paid 28 million. How much money we gonna get with him?
Well, the
Are you
English
sure
clubs
he's gonna get lots of money.
Yeah.
It's like you're getting the money back.
He will. At least 50 million.
The English
I'm
clubs.
very confused. I think we gotta see first what we're gonna do with all the extra players we have, and then you can start planning. I mean, who's moving out? I heard that the Salamaker, he wants to leave. He wants to be sold. I know. I was talking to Antonio before. He said, "Oh, we're gonna get rid of Diaz." Diaz says not a big, how do you call it, big salary. Like he make less than $1 million a year, and for me, he's important, but in the bench. So
Diaz is gone.
What's his name? If you sell Messi, he's not gonna make any money.
Oh, Messias.
Yeah, I don't care about Diaz. Diaz
guys,
for Madrid. It's not.
Oh, did you say Messias?
Yeah, you cannot.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, Guido.
Yeah, I say Messi.
Diaz is gone, guys. Interesting.
Messi is a bench player.
Guido, interesting scenario about Messias. Messias has taken out Milan out of all of his social media. Messias is already out the door.
Good. Get
Yeah,
rid
but
of
what
him.
are they gonna do? Doesn't he have a contract with us?
I don't know. I don't know.
Does he have a contract with Milan?
Yeah, but I don't know what the details are. If he took out Milan out of his socials, that has to say something.
I'm not stressed with Messias leaving. Believe me, that's the least of my
Going
worries.
to Reno.
No, I'm stressed that if we don't have money, who we gonna get? We gotta play
Exactly.
Italian Cup, Champions League, Italian
We're
league.
gonna get.
You need at least
Exactly,
25
Guido.
players. At least.
Hold on. We're gonna get.
So,
we're gonna
I'm
get
not talking
exactly.
about just the
priority for
11
free.
players.
Okay, guys.
Okay,
let's
once
move
you
on.
buy, if you buy I cannot pronounce the name. The right wing from
Adaman.
Villarreal, he looks.
No,
Yeah.
Chukwueze.
How much it
Yeah,
cost?
We're
How
gonna
much
get
it
to
cost?
Hold on. I don't want to jump from name to name, guys. I just want to stay from one name at a time so we can discuss the names.
Oh,
Let's
okay,
not jump-
no, I wasn't. I mean, I
let's
was.
not jump from name to
Because I don't have much
So-
time really. So.
Let's talk about Thuram next.
Yes.
Let's go
That
to
too.
Thuram. Now, for me, Thuram, guys, I'll start first, and then we will move from everybody. Thuram, guys, when I first saw him, I thought I wasn't very impressed, and I didn't like him so much. And then we started talking about him again. I looked at him again yesterday, and I was wrong, guys. He's even worse than I thought. For me, Thuram is a terrible sign.
No, you
And
can't. No.
To me, Thuram is worse than Origi, guys. We might as well keep Origi.
Can-
Now, he does have some good moments, but technically, Thuram has 2 bricks instead of feet. This guy is I'm a better football player than Thuram, guys. His qualities are his physical abilities, and he's strong. He's good at being in the box and pushing people around. But with his feet, this guy is bad news. So
Can I add-
Yeah, but
Can I add to
Roy,
that?
again, you're basing this off of high technical center forwards. Compare him to Giroud, and then
Giroud
you
is
realize he's not that. No, Giroud can't lay a
Giroud is
ball off.
100%.
If Giroud was passing a ball to
Giroud
the
is more
house first
technical,
time,
come on.
he would miss the house. Giroud is horrible
Giroud
at
is
laying
more
the ball
technical
off.
I
than
urge you
Thuram.
guys.
Giroud is
Hold
more
on, Nathan.
technical.
Let's not start the debate yet. I urge any of you guys to go and check Thuram and
I watch him every year.
Can I?
Can we
can
do?
I-
Wait, Roy. Let's do one at a time. 'cause
Yeah.
wanna-
Can I
let's all
talk
speak.
about
Yeah.
this subject? Can I go?
Yeah. Okay.
Guys.
And by the way, I compared him to other players. Like I compared him to Skamaka. Guys, there's no comparison.
I
There's
prefer
no-
Skamaka. I prefer
Skamaka
Skamaka.
is not one time better. Is a million times better.
Hey, can
I
I just
prefer
say something?
Skamaka.
Thuram can be used as a wing. Can
He also
Thuram
plays
be used
true.
as a wing?
He
Because
also
as a
plays-
number 9,
Left
don't
wing.
look at the stat.
Yeah. I know he's got.
We're gonna
he's
do
got-
like Origi. How many goals he scored in his career? 5. So we're gonna do the same mistake. We get Origi as
I mean,
10
this
goals
is
on all
another-
career. I mean,
This is another.
we need a defender to score goals. If you look at number 9, if you look at number 7, number on the wing, it's different thing. You can risk. I will get
I-
Dia from Salernitana. I don't know what we're waiting for.
Dia is a million
I
times
think-
better than Thuram.
I
All right,
think
let's go to
this would-
Giovanni. Giovanni, you go
I
next.
think this would be a perfect situation for Thuram to come in here because of the French
Thuram is
connection.
at
that-
0, right? He's free.
Yeah, it's just perfect because we have all these French kids. He can come in under Giroud's wing. He can learn off that and see what we need going forward. I'm not saying that he's going to be our next Pippo Inzaghi, no, but there is time to develop him, especially under Giroud's wing and with Theo Hernandez, Mike Mignon, all our French guys there, right? I think it
Even
would be a-
Leao.
Unfortunately, football is not spoken with your tongue; it's spoken with your feet. And
100%.
Thuram does
100%,
not speak
but-
the language of football, guys. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I don't
How
say
much?
like,
How much he makes a year? How much Thuram makes a year?
Inter was, I read, offering him 10 million gross. 10 million.
What?
Inter can't even pay the stadium and things like that, bro. Like, don't believe that.
That's what I read. This article was from like a month ago or 2 months ago.
Don't forget, Big Poppy PSG is in the race too, so that's gonna make it. That's gonna.
Yeah,
drive it up.
And
anybody
if
who goes to
PSG is in the
PSG
race,
ruins their
if
career.
if PSG is in the race, what does that tell you? That's a top club that wants him.
Well, that's
However-
debatable.
Hey,
That's
guys.
debatable.
Hold on.
Hey, is Rabiot already taken? The Juventus player
I don't know.
Rabiot, I think is free, right?
It did
Okay, I
later.
don't know.
No,
Okay.
no.
However, I
We
will
need a
say this about her. I
We
think
need a
Roy
five
is
midfield.
honestly right about this. I don't see a big improvement from Origi. I know that might be a shock, but I don't think it's that big of an improvement. I would rather go for if PSG is going to get this guy, then who's going to get Etiquette then?
That's a better prospect than Thuram.
Like I would get him. I would get that kid, on loan with obligation to buy, and Skamaka on loan as well.
Ekitike can also play
Because he's
on the
only on
wing in
loan,
a
I think.
4-3-3 because you got to remember Neymar's leaving, Messi left, so Ekitike can easily play on the right side and Term can play up top.
Yeah, but we can just get Skamaka on loan. We don't need to get Thuram.
I agree. Skamaka, I would take Skamaka over Term any day of the week. But
Yeah,
if
we don't
Thuram
need this guy.
if he's the only one that's available, I'm sorry. I watch Gladbach
Hey,
all
guys.
the time. So
Hey,
whenever I
guys,
watch him play and he's on
Arnautovic.
form,
Is Arnautovic out of the conversation? Because I take
Yes,
Arnautovic
he's
10 times
totally
to
out.
compare this price.
No, I
It's
wouldn't take that
ridiculous.
guy.
I don't think he's in the conversation
That
anymore.
guy's good, believe me.
He's
He's
good,
4
he's
years
good.
younger than Giroud.
No,
He's 4 years
good.
younger than Giroud.
He's good, but
He's
we're at
more
a
injury
time.
prone.
We're at a time where we got to find these young strikers and develop.
You want to compare Arnautovic with the Thuram? Thuram didn't
No.
score a goal in his life.
No.
Come on,
What?
I'm not comparing.
No.
I'm not
Look at how many
comparing.
goals he scored. Hold on, Guido.
He scored, but
what do
I'm
you
not
mean he didn't
comparing
score?
him. I'm just saying it's a.
I don't know. That's
you're better-
everybody
you're better
complain
off
about.
No, you're better off taking Thuram for the future instead of.
Hold on. Can I just say something?
Go ahead.
Okay, in the Bundesliga, he played 30 games. He scored 13 goals and he had 6 assists. So he had like 19
That's a
goal
good year.
involvements.
Yeah, Term is not a bad player, guys. If you
it's
guys
not
actually take
bad,
time to
but
watch his overall game, then you would
So
not be
why
saying the
everybody
same
talks
thing.
bad?
I will say this though. I think Origi got same numbers in the Bundesliga when he played.
Origi's never scored 10 goals. We can't say that. Origi doesn't score 10 goals
Origi
ever.
didn't score in all life.
So let's not think that
let me-
anyone will be better than Origi.
Listen, Thuram is not going to improve the quality of the football of Milan. Thuram is going to bring it
No,
down.
but he
Not
adds
really.
depth. He
Maybe
adds depth.
marginally. Maybe
Hey,
marginally.
Roy, is that
Origi, I
true?
don't know.
13 goals, 6 assists? I mean,
Yeah.
at zero,
Yeah.
that's not bad.
But no. Listen. I seen what his qualities are. His qualities. Look, he does have some moments,
But from
of
highlights,
brilliance,
Roy.
But I can tell how a person plays football just by watching him for 1 second. How
But
he controls-
highlights, Roy.
how
Come
he-
on.
hold on. How someone controls the ball, his passes, the quality of his passes, the quality of his body movement, the quality of how someone manages the ball. At the San Siro, a player like that is going to struggle. Is going to struggle a lot.
But that's a lot of players, Roy. Like unless you're considered a world class
and
player,
if we
almost
get-
every new person is gonna struggle at San Siro.
If we
Hey,
get
guys.
Thuram, we are going to. There's going to be a big dip of quality. Now we might get more physicality up front, so he's going to be more of a target man. But a target man needs to have a lot of quality.
He's not a target man though. That's my only problem. That's my only problem is Term's not a target man.
To me, he looked, from what I've understood of Thuram, he's a good player, but you put him in the box, and like when there's a shuffle in the box, he can kind of use his body to.
Damn. Hold
That's
on.
no,
I
but
just wanna
that's
say-
why I was trying to tell you, Roy. That is not Term's game.
All right,
That's
so
what I was
I
saying.
did
Like,
the-
What is Thuram? Kim?
I
Hey,
did the
guys,
check on
if I
Origi.
compare-
did the check on Origi. Okay.
Oh, we need 55 players, I'm thinking. If Inter, look at Inter offense and look our offense. Okay, Inter play with 2 offenders. They got 4, one better than the other one. We don't have one, only Giroud. I don't understand why Arnautovic is not good for us. I really understand.
Arnautovic is gone. Move on, but okay. Can
He's
I?
too
why
injury
wrong?
prone.
Because Maldini
And
and
Origi
Masada
only
wanted
scored
him.
Let's
six-
go to
not
hold on.
the new management.
Let's
Okay,
go
Listen,
Guys,
He's
we're just
gone.
talking over each other.
He's
Please, let's stop.
gone.
Antonio, go.
I'm not talking about Arnautovic anymore. All right. Anyways, listen. This is one of those funny times where I agree like 100% with Roy. Like, so when he first was breaking out at Mönchengladbach, like I saw that he was, Lilian Thuram's son. I looked into him a little bit. He's actually born in Italy, funny enough. While he was playing at Parma, his dad. I looked into, his brother's also very good. He's a midfielder who plays for, I think, Nice, who might go to Liverpool. He's very good.
Keep going.
Yeah, I wish we signed his brother, but I looked into them. And I watched him play. He was decent. I think like maybe 2 years ago when they were in the UCL. I have to agree with Roy though. When I watch him play, and I want to say this, I agree with Nathan because I don't think he's like someone who's going to get long balls like a target man. I think he plays through the middle or on the left
And
wing.
runs into space.
He run. Yes, he's got good pace and he's got good physical attributes. And so he's like maybe he'd be good in like counterattacks and like sort of open styles of games. I don't think he'll succeed in Italy because I agree with Roy. Technically, he's not that good. I saw him many times. His dribbling isn't that good. His finishing is nothing special. And for a striker, that's like one of the most important things for me is how
That's
clinical
on
they
the
are.
average. Who's
His
good
goals-
technically these days?
Okay,
They all
wait, one
suck
second.
technically.
Okay,
I
okay.
cannot watch soccer
Some
anymore.
are,
They so suck.
some are better than others, and his goals, his stats are decent, like they're fine. But once again, if his stats aren't amazing or really like near 20, I think he has like 13 goals in the league this season, which is pretty good. But for me, it's
This
still
season.
the Bundesliga, and the Bundesliga is the goal numbers are always inflated for me there. So
He
I'm
seems-
not.
Bundesliga is better than
He
the
seems
French
like an
league.
improvement.
Antonio.
He's-
It's
oh,
better
man.
than nothing. It's better than nothing for me, but I'd much rather have someone else.
Great depth
Antonio,
in the team.
Antonio, 111 appearances, he scored 34 goals. Is that
Wait,
like?
which
Is that,
are you talking about? Like over the course of the past many years, like multiple
I'm
years?
talking about over the last 4 years.
Yeah, I said a few years ago he was. I saw him. He looked better to me in the UCL. But as of like this past year, he didn't impress me at all.
Yeah,
And-
Hey, does he
the
use
more I
both
watch-
feet? Is he left or right foot?
This
How does
guy
he
is
does
not
he use
left foot,
both
he's
feet?
not right
Hold
foot.
on,
He's got
Guido.
2 bricks instead of feet.
Thuram,
All right, can I just say
I'm
something?
watching Thuram's highlights for 2023 while I was on that work
Yeah,
call.
Hans, go
Sorry,
ahead. It's your
and
turn.
just not impressed, to be honest.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I agree. But yeah, I was looking at Origi's stats. Do you know how many goals he scored when he was in the Bundesliga? Around the same
many?
age? 6.
Okay.
Origi sucked. We know that.
How many
Well,
goals?
what's
Thuram
zero?
scored
What's
13.
0 times 2?
Maybe he. Okay, fine. Hans, you're right. He's better
Yeah,
than
I know.
Origi. Fine, he's better than Origi.
He's yeah, that's all I'm gonna say is that he's better than Origi. I was saying
Hey, guys, the problem
he's
is-
not good enough. Let
Listen,
Inter
the
have him.
problem is
We need to
how
get
much money we have.
Ekitike.
That's the problem.
Listen. Ekitike
Not
is,
Moneyball.
I'm reading the
Thuram is
0 times 35.
Alright,
Guys,
guys,
one at a time,
stop,
one at a
stop.
time, one at a time,
Hans
guys.
is
Guys,
talking.
one at a time.
Hans is talking. Do not interrupt.
I was
Hans.
gonna say if they're gonna get Thuram because they're linked to him, the PSG, they're already. I'm reading their news. They're putting Ekitike on the transfer list right now, basically.
That's a better player.
So
That's a better player.
this is a no-brainer for me. You get him on loan with obligation to buy Ekitike and Skamaka, and you don't have to pay anything up front. That's what I would do.
Yeah, I'm
All
a
right,
fan
go
of Ekitike as well.
Yeah, who wants to say anything next about this topic? Ace,
Let
have you
Inter
said
have
anything?
Thuram.
About... Ace, I don't think I've heard you talk about Thuram yet. What's up?
I just
What do you
I kind of interrupted Antonio with the stats about.
Oh,
100,
right.
111
It's okay. It's just
goals.
Antonio.
But,
Yeah, that's right. That's probably
No,
the
but-
most. That's actually the most respectful I've ever. The most respect I've received on the channel in a long time. So thank you for apologizing.
There's no need to
problem.
apologize to Antonio. It's fine.
Okay, but what I would say on Thuram is that I think it's a desperate move by the Milan management to try to get our fans to have some faith in their like ambition level. But all they're really showing is that they just, kind of have no ideas really with Thuram because he made the France squad, but he only really made the France squad because Benzema was injured, you know what I mean? And Kuku got injured. So like I really hope that this is just like a fodder report and we're not actually going for him because I feel like with the wages that he also is demanding, we could do so much better. Like for instance, if it was up to me, I would go and get Colombo back and bring him back to Milan. Like, why are we going for him when we have Colombo, who's like basically ready to be the understudy for Giroud? And that's my only 2 cents on that.
Okay. Anybody? Guido, did you? So you said you would rather have Arnautovic, huh? Tell us why.
He's muted. So here,
Anybody
yeah.
want to answer? Anyone disagrees or agrees with Ace?
No, I don't want to bring in that guy from Bologna. No. I don't.
Guys,
Are we
okay, let's
talking
not talk
about
about Arnautovic because
Arnautovic?
that's over.
Yeah.
It's over. It's over.
I don't
Let's
want
not even
him.
waste our time.
I don't want him coming to Milan. We're
No,
going
but
back.
would you rather Colombo come back or
Yeah,
keep
Colombo
Thuram?
come back. Colombo come back for sure. He's a great prospect, but I don't want to bring in these old strikers. We're doing the same shit over and over. Let's start a little bit younger. Let's bring in some young kids.
I
Even
agree
if
with
this
that.
guy Thuram comes in, he's young. He's got a lot of good qualities that he could potentially turn out to be a decent striker that could get you 12 to 15 goals in the Serie A. I think that's very possible, especially with Giroud there, like guiding him. Like, I think it's a safe environment for Thuram to come to Milan instead of him going to PSG and him being French going back to Paris to play. I think it's safer for him to come to Milan and develop way better as a player there than go to PSG and just every time I see somebody go to PSG, it's sad because they get destroyed. Their career goes to garbage.
Yeah,
Listen,
look at Julian Draxler. Draxler was considered a super talent when he was younger. He
Julian
went to
Draxler was
PSG
sick,
and just
bro. He went
yeah,
to
he was a
PSG
sick player.
and then boom,
yo,
killed him.
on the
Yep.
on this thing, right? So people have said on the here that this is a perfect environment, a perfect situation for Thuram. Yeah, I agree. It's perfect for Marcus Thuram. It's not perfect for Milan. Marcus Thuram, yes, he'd much rather go to a team that's going to play Champions League football. If you're comparing with PSG, maybe he gets higher wages at PSG. But here, like you guys said, we have a good project. He'll be able to, get the torch from Giroud and take over, and he'll be able to play a lot of games. For me, though, I don't think he's. I think he's what 26, 25. How old is he? I don't know his exact age.
25.
At this stage, I haven't seen. I mean, he needs to show a little bit more technical ability. And the other thing I want to address is the Serie A is not an easy league. Like I don't think he's going to score 12, 15 goals in his first year if he scored 13 this year in Germany.
No,
Like,
not
Serie A-
not
the
12
Serie A
in his first year. I'm saying he
okay.
can eventually be a 15-goal striker.
Okay, well, yeah, I don't know about that. We'll see. But for me, he's going to have a lot of adapting to do next year. So if we get him and no one else, it's going to be a situation where maybe Giroud has to, we have to basically start Giroud on all the important games once again, unless he really steps out.
I'm
Giroud's
sure
gonna be the
Thuram
number
can
one
lighten
guy.
his load, for sure.
Yeah, in some smaller games, sure. But I think Giroud's still going to be the top guy. So I think because the defenses in Italy, like they play so tight, he doesn't have the ability to work around that yet. So it's
No,
going
not
to
at
take a
all.
lot of
No,
adjustment.
I think if
Yeah, Nathan, talk about
Thuram
him.
or
Go ahead.
if Thuram, I think whatever striker comes in is gonna be the starting striker. I think it would be a mistake to keep Giroud on and prolong another striker's ability to get used to Serie A. Like you got to play to get used to
The thing
what's
is,
going on.
the thing with that, Nathan, that you just said is that you have to produce. You can't come to at least Giroud with all his limits he produces.
Right,
It's
but
difficult for me to imagine Thuram come
Right.
to Milan and produce right away,
But
especially after
the
Giroud
problem,
has already acclimated himself to the club.
right, and I agree, but you have to do the same thing to other people coming in. You can't just say, "Oh, well, Giroud's already done it, so we'll just give this guy 10 to 15 minutes when Giroud gets tired." Like that's not how he's gonna get better. We know what Giroud can do, so we gotta have the new person coming in take his spot so he can prove what he can do. Of course, I would rather get Skamaka because he could just come in straight away and take over because he understands the Serie A. But if Thuram is the option that comes, even if it's the least favorite, you got to give him the time that Giroud gets and give Giroud 20 minutes at the end of the
Yeah, but
game.
Giroud knows his time's coming up too, so he knows that like he's not going to be playing as much. So if you
And-
have a young kid to guide, it could be like a Ibrahimovic type thing, where you're
Yeah, but
coach
Term
him,
is
right?
25. Term's 25, not 19
Yeah, but you
or
bring
20.
Thuram in, and then you recall Colombo back. That's a good front three, like three strikers to choose from for three competitions. No,
No, I agree with that. I agree.
I don't think so.
I just don't think Thuram should be. I just don't think Giroud should be trying to mentor Thuram as much as someone like Colombo.
Forget about Colombo.
Listen,
Gio.
yesterday,
Sorry.
because we
Colombo's
Really?
he's not going to be a top striker. Just forget about it.
No, Thuram definitely won't be a top striker,
No,
but he's a
You guys,
stopgap.
hey, can I say?
Colombo.
Hey,
Oh, Colombo won't be
can
a
I
top.
say
Well, I mean,
something? Like,
you never
do you
know.
understand?
He can turn
Okay, I
out
want to
to-
understand. Rebic, can I say something? Rebic and Origi are gonna stay or gonna go? That's the
Oh, they
They
gotta go.
They gotta go.
They got to go.
They
Well,
have to go.
if he can sell him, but yeah, I think the
Okay, if
plan
they gotta
is-
go, we
Just
need
give
the
them for
55
free.
players.
No.
Because Giroud, what about Giroud get hurt next year? He's 38. What about he get hurt? What are we gonna do? I'm gonna go play
That's what I
next year.
said. He needs
That's
20
why-
minutes.
Gonna play, we don't have
That's
anybody.
why you got to bring in young kids. 'cause
Okay.
If you start bringing in these older guys, they're just going to keep getting injured, and we're going to get stuck. We can't afford to get stuck anymore. We've been getting stuck the whole past year, and that's why we barely qualified for Champions League. Barely by a hair.
Yeah,
guys,
we
guys,
reached the
listen, hold on.
semi-final without
45.
offenders.
Let me just say something.
I know.
Let me say
Imagine if
something.
you had.
So yesterday, because we
Yeah, that's what I mean. We need it.
1 second, Guido. 1 second. So yesterday, I was comparing Scamacca
have
to
much time.
Thuram. Man, Scamacca's. I was watching Scamacca's highlights from West Ham, his goals, his plays. Guys, Scamacca's quality.
Yeah,
Scamacca's quality.
he's a great striker too. Believe me.
Do
I
we
would
have
love
a
to have
Brazil
him.
scout video we can put on?
Well,
Scamacca playing my
it's a
area.
Premier League
Chuck
highlight.
Waze
I'm
video?
I'm not gonna do it.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Well, you-
Roy,
Well,
Roy,
you know
you're
what's-
gonna get the video taken down if you play this.
This is from Spain, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wait,
it
wait,
is.
we're not
Hold
there
on,
yet.
an
We're not there
agenda
yet.
mention.
Okay, let's finish this argument on Thuram. Go
We're
ahead.
about to put on
Final
Samuel
thought?
highlights, and Hans is
I don't
asking
know
for
why I got a
Scalvini.
problem. Right?
Huh?
What's interesting is why are there no
Hello.
talks about Scamacca?
I don't
Because
know.
right
why
now-
they're-
I don't think West Ham
I
is
haven't
gonna
seen.
like.
I
give
haven't
him up.
seen any reports about it. So like, I don't even
Yeah,
know.
there's been no links whatsoever.
Forget
Yeah,
Scamacca.
right, like-
This guy is a baller. This Samuel. How do you say his last name?
This guy's a right winger, though.
Wheezy.
Wait, let's get to this. Let's
Chuck
get to this.
Wheezy?
This guy's sick.
I'm
Fuck
so
Chuck
excited.
Wheezy. This guy's a baller.
Chukwueze.
I'm so
Let's
excited.
let's
for this.
all right, guys. Let's move on. Let's move on.
Wait, Roy, did you talk about Tielemans yet or no? Did I miss that?
I don't know.
No,
This
no,
guy.
No,
everybody's
not
saying
yet.
he's 40 million though. Everyone's saying he's 40 million.
Yeah,
But
Well, that's
Chukwueze
gonna be like
is-
probably the starting
Can I-
point for negotiate. Like we can probably negotiate that down.
guys. I have never seen
I
this
read an
player
article that
ever.
it was
So
20
we're-
million, but everybody
Roy,
else is
he-
telling me it's 40.
Roy, he's a
This
guy
very
is
good
so
player.
good. This guy is so good.
Roy's
Roy,
about
he's
to jizz his pants, dude.
I am so
Roy-
excited. I'm gonna cry.
Roy, he's a good player, but he's being courted by teams with more money than us.
Remember your young bull Bakayoko? Remember your young bull Bakayoko? And then the Chelsea signing.
Wait, let me just say this.
Madueke.
That's
Not Makueke, yeah. Very similar to those guys. Go ahead.
Chukwueze has, I think, 12 goals this year, maybe 13, and I think 10 assists or something like that.
Yeah, in La Liga too.
Yeah, and well, that's like all in all competitions. Yes. So he's got really good stats. He's an inverted left-footed right winger. I think he can also play cam, but he looks basically like a pure right winger. Like this guy is exactly what we've been asking for.
Yeah,
He's
this
24
guy-
years old. I think imagine him and Leao. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, on a counter
That
attack.
would be
like,
fucking nasty.
oh my goodness.
All right,
Oh my God! How much money we have? Oh my God!
Roy,
That's
Roy,
my
this video is
question.
gonna get taken down.
You guys talking
No,
without
it's
money,
not.
so
We're not getting in because
Hey, let us be excited.
but it's
Let us
fun
be
to
excited.
dream.
Let us be
Yeah.
excited.
We're going to sell one of our players in order to get a player like
This is
like
confirmed by Di Marzio. He just said that we're strongly interested. Longo
I'm
just
sorry, can't
updated.
hear anything. I don't know
Longo has
what's wrong.
updated and said that we haven't really made too many advancements today for him, but we are very interested. That's what Longo said. So nothing.
Yeah, but
nothing really- nothing
we won't
advanced.
win a bidding war with anyone. We would lose a bidding war to Udinese to try and get this
These
guy.
guys were. That guy had a good year.
Hey, can I
bro,
say
when,
something?
Villarreal
Nathan,
was
you're
in
gonna make me
Champions
cry, bro.
League.
What'd you
When
say?
You're gonna make me cry, bro.
They had a
Hey
good
man,
Champions League a couple years ago.
Yeah, he did. When they got to the semis,
Yeah, bro. He was a big piece, man.
immense. Yeah.
Guido, you wanted
But
to
we
say
just
something? Go ahead, guys. Listen, too much talking over each other. It's chaotic.
Why don't we get this guy from Villarreal and we get all free market players?
What? Say again.
He
He
said,
wants to
We should
sign
take
this
all
guy
free
and
market
get.
players and get this guy from Villarreal.
Oh, okay. You like him? You know him?
we still
This is
can't afford him.
This
I
is the
showed
first
him
time I
some of
see
his
him.
clips
This is the
yesterday.
first time. I
He's
see
good.
him.
Trust me, he's good, man.
Roy wants organized conversation with Guido on the line.
So, what are you guys' opinion on this guy, guys?
Not happening,
Let me
bro.
know. Let's
No,
do one at a
he's
time,
good,
guys.
Roy.
Let me just give you the
We
name.
like him, but he's too expensive.
Hans, you talk about him. And guys, if
Okay.
anybody interrupts Hans, you get a yellow card, and you're going to go 2 minutes out. Those are the new rules. All right.
Okay,
Hans.
well, I'm just learning about him as well because I don't really watch La Liga. I was watching his highlights the past few days. Yeah, he looks fantastic. I have read articles that all say he's 20 million because he only has 1 year left in his contract. The chat seems to think differently, and they think he's going to go for 40 million. I don't really know all the top clubs that are interested in him, but I know there are quite a few from top leagues, top clubs. But yeah, this guy fits everything that we want. A left-footed right winger that can cut inside, that has layout, pace, basically. I mean, he doesn't have the full strength and height that he has, but I mean, you don't really need it when you're this skillful, I would say, and you're this quick, this agile.
Are you sure it's not layout pace? It doesn't look
What
like
is
it.
up with
Looks
these
like
highlights, Roy? Can you please
dribbling,
get his
man.
2023 highlights or something? Like these are like from when he was like. What's up with these highlights?
Leao
Yellow
has-
card, rock.
Leao has
Yeah, he
superhuman
just-
pace.
Roy interrupted him first. Roy interrupted him first.
I said similar to Leao, but I mean, obviously, Leao
Where's
is
the
one of a
ref?
kind. He's a Ferrari, basically. He's like the Bale of this generation when it comes to pace.
Roy's Anthony
All right.
Taylor.
Giovanni, you go next. What do you want to say about
I-
this player?
I agree with Buddy what he said, 20 million. I'm not seeing a lot of reports on that 40, 50 million. He's got 1 year left. For 20 million, this guy would be a steal, dude. Because this guy would add so much fucking pace to that right side that we've been lacking. And he's got the skill. Look, these are old highlights, but look at him, how he gets through the players, no problem. His control's good. He's got a good pace. He could dish it off. Like, look, boom. Like these.
Listen, if he was this good back then, imagine how good he is now when he had
Yeah,
like a
like-
breakout season.
And he's young, dude. This is what Milan need. We have to be going in the young route. It always pays off, man. Even if they have a
Well-
bad couple years, like I get it with that signing that we had last year. He's young. He had a horrible year, one of the worst years you could possibly have. But when they're young like that, all they have is time, dude.
Well, this guy
Yeah,
is older than CDK. He's like 24,
yeah,
I would say.
yeah,
He's
but that's
entering
young.
a good
That's young.
age.
Yeah,
Well,
it's
that's
good-
that you're
good
not
age.
you're not going to improve that much, I would say, but like you're definitely used to top football by then usually.
This guy, if you can get him for 20 million, it's a steal.
Nathan, what do you think about this player?
He is a very good pure winger. I want people to understand that this guy is not really like Leao, because Leao actually looks for the goal. Chukwueze is going to frustrate people because he will miss ridiculous chances, but he's at least getting himself in those opportunities. So he would be a good option to have because he's going to get a lot of assists. I think he had 5 or 6 assists this year on a mid type of team like Villarreal or whatever it is. So I mean, he would be good for sure. Just don't expect him to be scoring goals like that. He's going to be an assist maker for the most part.
Got you.
I can read you his numbers right now
Sure,
if you
go ahead.
want.
Yeah.
Okay, he played 37 matches in La Liga, and he scored 6 goals and 5 assists, and only one yellow
5
card,
assists.
no red cards. So
6 goals and 5 assists.
Wow, he's worse than
55.
Messi is.
Check the other.
He's
check,
worse than
no,
Messi is.
check the
Well,
other
this-
competitions.
Guido,
Check the other
37,
competitions.
37 games.
Check the other
Wait,
competitions.
but
Check
listen,
the other
What you
competitions.
guys need to check with Chukwueze is his
See?
XG. Look at his XG. His XG is gonna tell you the types
See?
of chances he's either creating or
You see? Data.
That's the difference.
Data
Check
analytics.
other competitions. Check other competitions and add them.
Guido,
Check
let's
other
go to Guido next.
competitions.
Guys,
Okay,
do
hang
not
on.
interrupt Guido, please. Guido, what do you
Okay.
think?
I got
Other
next.
competitions.
Not,
Sorry. Hold on. Do you want me to answer Guido, or was it Guido? No.
No,
Is
it
that
adds
okay?
up
Go
to
ahead.
12
I don't
goals,
have
10
too much
assists.
time
Okay.
though, because sooner or later I
Okay.
gotta
Let
stop.
Guido talk, Hans, then we'll come back to you.
No, wait.
Guido.
He's just
You-
telling. He's just telling you. His,
No,
his
let him
overall
finish,
numbers,
let him
bro. It's
Okay.
overall numbers.
Do you want the numbers?
Yeah.
Okay.
12 goals, 10 assists.
50 matches in the La Liga, Conference League, and Conference League qualifiers and Copa del Rey, he's gotten 13 goals and 11 assists. So 24 returns in 50 matches.
50% almost.
That's it.
Yeah.
And this is La Liga, guys. This is a top league.
Well, they're not all La Liga.
No,
I just
yeah.
told
It's
you
also
La
the
Liga
Spanish
numbers.
Cup, the Spanish Cup as well, and some other and then the Conference League and the Europa League, whatever. Yeah.
All right.
La Liga, he
Guido.
wasn't so hot, but
Let's
in
go to
Europe, he
Guido.
was on fire. And Copa del Rey.
Zaniolo would still be a better option, I think.
Well,
Now that's insanity.
Why is that?
I would take Zaniolo.
I'm not having this debate right now. All right, Dad.
well, we can take it because I kind of agree.
Why?
I like Zaniolo a lot.
Why will that be insanity?
Zaniolo, he can keep where he is. Stay in Turkey. He's doing a good job.
All right,
Zaniolo's
Guido, listen,
got two
what do you
broken
think
Hold
about
on,
this
hold
player?
on. Put up Zaniolo's
what?
highlights from the.
Hold on, Zaniolo's got two.
And
1, 2, 3, 4. Doom tech, tech,
He's
doom
gonna
tech,
break
doom
sooner or later.
tech, tech,
He's
doom
broke.
tech.
He's not broken.
When
He
you have
is
those
not
kind of
broken.
injury, you
No,
done.
This guy played 50 games. Zaniolo can't play 50 games,
man.
dude. No way.
Just look at the game he had in Turkey against Fenerbahce.
Look at the game this guy had against Real Madrid when he scored 2 goals. Zaniolo would never do that. Never.
You don't know.
Zaniolo, go look at the stat. Maybe 1 year
Guys,
scored
my
goals.
audio just went out. I'll be back.
I don't know, man.
I mean,
Listen, the
All right,
problem
let's
is
see.
if there's
budget.
if there's one thing we know is that in Serie A, or when Zaniolo was with Roma, he was producing numbers and he did help them win a Euro final or a European competition.
Does anyone know the formation that they play, Villarreal? I'm trying to look for.
No,
All
this
right,
guy,
I'm
listen,
trying
has
to look for
qualities.
it.
Did Guido want to say
That's
anything about
another big question I like to talk about. Are we really play 4-2-3-1 again if losing Inter 5 times? That's what he's gonna do with the player we have. We worry
Okay,
about the
Chukwueze-
wing, the number 9, but we don't worry. But we don't have any midfielders that can play 4-2-3-1. We have only
I said the
Tonali. That's
same
it.
thing, Guido. I said the exact same thing you did.
Instead of
You
kicking
gotta have
Maldini
the
out, they should
midfielders
kick
to
the
do it.
coach out.
Then why don't you ever
we
put
did the
midfielders
break.
on what you want? You never bring up any CMs.
Hey guys, so Villarreal plays a 4-2-3-1, so they play the similar formation to Milan.
Oh, that's why they're talking.
Listen, Zaniolo in Turkey, out of 10 games, he's got 5 goals.
That's a good return. What the hell?
He only played 10 games?
Castillo and Villarreal before joining AC Milan. Stop outselling players, guys.
That's a good return.
He looks
5
like a player
goals
that
in
has
10
qualities.
games.
Probably better qualities than the current right wingers that we have right now.
Hey guys,
Yeah,
I
give me
keep asking,
Zaniolo
what's
instead.
the budget? Anybody knows what's the budget?
35 million, probably.
Yeah, but
35.
you can't go off that either. That could be fluff news.
Guido.
You gotta buy a number.
I'm
We
inclined to
need
believe that.
We need at least is Bakayoko gone, right? Bakayoko is gone. Benacer is gone because he's not gonna come back before February if he play the Africa Cup. First of all, so consider a year. You don't even know the way he's coming back because those
Can I-
injuries you don't know. Okay, so
Can I
you
just
cannot
say-
count on them.
Yeah.
We're getting
Doesn't matter
another
if I like or don't like.
we're getting another
So-
pure winger named Samu from Villarreal again.
No. Zaniolo, you guys say 10 matches, but honestly, it was 5 goals in 350 minutes. So that is, if you do the math, 5
I
goals
think
in
Kamara is
4
gonna play
matches.
next year.
Why does he only have
So-
10 games? Like,
I
why
think
is-
Well,
Kamara
because
is
he's
gonna
been
play
coming off
next
the
year.
bench sometimes. That's why.
so he can't start for Galatasaray.
Well, maybe he was having, I don't know, issues with
He also
adapting.
joined them. He also joined them in the winter window.
I'm sorry, but I've never bought
Well,
into this hype.
Another reason was that he got a big red card suspension over there. He was out for like 2-3 games. Then he was
That is
disqualified.
one of
He's
Zaniolo's
played.
biggest
He's played
problems.
every single game except for the ones that he's been disqualified from through red card suspension. So it has nothing to do with injuries. It's just that the coach had Rashika, and then he was playing Rashika.
I
But-
bring more Icardi than Zaniolo. If I gotta bring Icardi, not Zaniolo.
Okay, did you
But
realize
he
that
only wait.
in 350
I'd rather
minutes,
Rashika.
he scored 5 goals in 350 minutes. That's over a goal a match.
I have a
That's an
question though. I have a
average.
question. He
That's
played
his
10
average.
games out of 36 in the Turkish league. Like he only
Antonio,
played 10.
No.
He
He
came
only joined
in fucking
in the winter.
January.
Come on.
He came in
Okay,
January.
okay. So half. So that's, I forgot. So that's half of them. So that'd be like 8. What like
And the league didn't start
total
up again
games?
until March. The league didn't start up again until March.
Oh,
Apparently.
okay. I forgot it was the
Nobody
entire league.
Why nobody talk about Dia? I love that guy. Why nobody talk about Dia?
Yeah,
I don't know
an
anything
interesting
about
prospect. I like Dia. I think Dia is better than all of the.
You know, he
players that
played
we've
3
seen today.
positions in the field. He can play the 3 position on the field.
Yeah.
He
I
can
know.
play
I've been watching
every
him all
side
year.
of the field. So that's how you gotta look at it. Because if we don't have a body, we cannot buy 20 players. So who we gonna get it? These people cannot spend 20 million for a player. How you gonna find the number 9 and number 7 under 20 million? That is good. You're not gonna find it. So at this point, take it to Ram. Thuram is free, right? Free transfer. I take it. You never know. Maybe
You want Thuram.
that's an exploit. You know, at least it's free. If these people don't have money, once they buy one player, we need
Would you take-
midfielders. We have so many
Guido,
players.
Guido, Skamaka or Thuram? Skamaka loan or Thuram? free?
Scamacca loan, yes, on the loan.
Yes.
How are you gonna buy Scamacca? They pay 40 million.
Skamaka loan, yeah. West Ham. I think
Scamacca
they're
scored
gonna
5
loan
goals in his life. He worth 40 million. Imagine a player that scored 20 goals a year. How much he scored?
him.
Holy fuck, this kid kills me.
Thuram kind of gives me like Origi CDK vibes. I don't know if he's going to pan out, to be honest.
It's funny because these people want to be, no, you guys, the ownership, they talk about the algorithm. Okay, when you look at the algorithm, you look at the stat, it's going to cost 100 million on one player. Because if you want a good algorithm, that means the stats are playing. What's algorithm mean?
Hey, I saw a video about this. Can I just comment on
So
that?
how are they going to buy players good with the algorithm?
Let me tell you. Well, I don't know if you guys have talked about this because I haven't been listening
Go
to
ahead.
the entire live, but I saw a video where Jerry is essentially being interviewed about this, and like, listen, I'm very skeptical about this, but like, they asked him like, okay, what do you mean by data analytics and like in terms of football, like what are you talking about? And apparently he was like implying that like their focus, like they really prioritize. I don't know if it's not just XG, but it's like the spatial. Like what you do in a given space, and like they love the data about how players, especially attacking players, how they perform in the different spaces, and like their XG in a particular like situation. So he was emphasizing like some kind of niche like data like to look at, and I don't know how effective. I mean, he basically said that all clubs nowadays have data analytics, like every single even the smallest clubs have data analytics, but he's trying to like focus specifically on a few different like categories or whatever you want to phrase it in terms of the data. But listen, I'm not advocating for what he's doing. I'm just saying that's kind of how he explained it. Just to
You guys got to tell me how it's going to work, the algorithm, with the money that we have. That's what I want to understand.
Well, we don't know. We have
It's
to
not
see.
going to work. We're going to
It's going
sell
to go to Serie
players.
C algorithm. Serie C.
Scaroni said we are selling players. Trust me,
Wait,
guys.
what are you talking about?
Scaroni said that we are going to sell players. He didn't say.
Well, yeah, we need
our
to
best
sell.
players.
We have
Correct.
a full team right now. We have a full
Yeah,
squad. Of course,
like
we
we're
have
gonna
to.
sell like players like Messias, players like
Right.
Yeah, you're gonna make a fight back.
Rebic is totally
Exactly. Thank you, Guido. These
They gotta worry about the bench. We need a bench too. We need a bench.
Guido, these guys think we're gonna sell all of our worst players who haven't produced on the pitch, and we're gonna make 150 million in sales, and then we're gonna reinvest it in the market. These guys are like so delusional.
No, I thought
Listen,
we don't
Messi,
believe that.
Messi,
We want
Messi,
them out of here. That's all.
30 million for Salamakers, they were saying in the chat, Guido.
Listen, Messias is one of the best we have. Believe me, he's one of the best. Go look at the stat in 2 years. Hey, how many times he got injured, didn't play? If he plays steady, Messias. Okay, do I want somebody better? Of course. But on the bench, at least I sell Salamaker. I don't want to sell it because he's good in any. He can play right back. He can play left. Salamaker can play anywhere. So you're gonna make how much? 15 million, 20 million? How much they give you for Salamaker? And then what are you gonna buy with that money? Nothing.
I think Anwar is joking, by the way, of this comment, but I was watching. It was an interview about soccer or football
ridiculous.
or European football, however you want to put it. He was talking about that data in relation to that. So it's not about American sports. But anyways, yeah.
And plus, listen, the midfielders, we don't have any for the 4-2-3-1. To play 4-2, you see against Inter what we did? We cannot play with the physical team with the two. We don't have any physical midfielder. Only Tonali. There is nobody, not all. All little freaking mice, little mouse. You cannot play with those.
I agree.
If you play
I
4-2.
agree.
Okay.
The algorithm,
Guido
Guido,
doesn't play.
an 18-year-old kid. The algorithm is gonna find an 18-year-old kid. Don't worry.
All right,
Hey,
let's
and
We need to
Dewar-
bring the
and
youth
Dewar-
team. You know
Dewar
what?
is definitely
Pause.
physical.
Pause. We're going to
Let's play the youth team. Let's play the youth team.
Hold on. We're gonna segue. Since we're talking about the midfield, we're going to segue now to the next player that emerged today, and it ties into this topic right here. So
Which one? Tielemans?
Tielemans is being linked to Milan right now. It looks like Milan is going in for Tielemans. They're at least seeing whether this can be done. Before I want to go around and see what you guys think, I have seen Tielemans play 6 times. I know that's not much. I saw him play twice against Italy. He got his ass kicked. I saw him play twice against Napoli. He got his ass kicked. I saw him play twice against Roma. He got his ass kicked. So for me, this is how I know Tielemans so far. But maybe
Hey,
you guys can
Roy.
see more. Guido,
You
you
see
go
a
next.
free
You go
market?
next. He's free. Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. No, I want to say, again, I insisting. Do we have money? No. So we have no choice. We got to get Thuram. We got to get this guy. At least it's free market. And then you buy one good player. Which one is? I don't know. Is the guy in Villarreal that good? I saw the highlights. He looks good. But in Italy, it's not a joke. In Italy, coach the defense. They know what they're doing. So.
But how do you stop him and Leao, both sides, two dynamic? Like, it's not easy.
Well, we play 11-11. We don't play for the Leao. It's going to be on the other wing.
You know what a big part of this problem is that we don't produce nobody from the youth. And that's the fucking problem with this team. You could do all this buying and all that, but you got to be producing.
Wait. Can I say something? You know, when yesterday I was watching Pescara, the Serie C playoff.
Yeah.
My area, Pescara is from my area, where I'm from. They lost. There was a player that fought just so good. They say Milan youth. Okay, we got players all over the because we kicked them out. First of all, we reached the semi-final Champions League with the youth team, right? So maybe they're not doing good in Italian League. How did they reach the semi-final Champions League if they're so bad? What about Traoré? Traoré was playing Serie A with Parma before we got him. He was playing Serie A when they got relegated. Maybe he can play with us.
No,
because we got to buy players.
That's what
They're
I'm
stuck.
saying.
Give them a chance.
If we could produce
Cuenca is better than Diaz. Cuenca is better than Diaz 10 times.
Problem, and it adds
Let
to
Giovanni
the
talk.
depth.
Let Giovanni talk.
But I'm saying is that if we produce from the Primavera, these young kids have a fucking system that you can bring up kids that can add to the depth. I'm not saying that these guys are going to get in the starting lineup. No, You don't want them to get into the starting lineup. You want to bring them up gradually where they can get a little bit of playing time. Like Pobega. Pobega's a fucking good midfielder, dude. This guy doesn't get any time. And he's from the youth. Like, they know the systems. That's the problem with Milan when it comes to that. We're always finding ourselves handcuffed because we don't have the depth, or we got to spend money and we don't have money. Produce the kids from the Primavera, bro. Get these kids up here. An Italian.
Yeah,
would
let
be,
them play. We need
well,
to let them play.
yeah, Italian players. We're gonna need them, right? We can't.
Listen.
Every time you go for a French player or this player or that player, you got to spend money, bro.
This guy didn't give Adli one chance. 10 million euro we paid for Adli. Not even a chance. If I was Adli, I would kick you, I would burn his house. I can't believe. He was the best player of the preseason because he's 4-2-3-1. He never had a chance. Come on, man. He's the only one that got skill in our team. He used both feet. He see the pass when he cut the field. He's the only one can cut the field. He did so many times.
All right, let's move on to Rock. Are you
I'm
available?
so upset for Adli. Really.
Yeah, to talk about Tielemans.
Yeah, go ahead.
I've watched Tielemans play twice for Leicester this season, and I watched him play for Belgium once. Belgium, right? I was not super impressed at all. He didn't look that mobile to me. He looked kind of slow. I do think he's a decent passer of the ball. I know people say he has an eye for goal. I think he has 3 or 4 goals this season in the Premier League. I don't know how many he has in all competitions. But again, Leicester City as a whole struggled a lot this season in the Premier League. I'm going to be honest. I'm not super excited about this player. I think his lack of mobility might be okay in the Serie A against certain teams, but he's not very tall. He's not that strong for a defensive mid, which I think he plays mostly defensive mid, center mid. He's free, I guess, so that makes him a little bit attractive as a target, but I'm not overly impressed by this player at all, to be honest.
And remember, guys, Insigne, a player that everybody shits on, Insigne cooked his ass against Belgium. So let's not forget, if Insigne can cook his ass that easily, I'm sure there's a lot of players in Italy that can cook his ass. Let's go to Hans. What do you think about this player?
I agree with Rock. I do not want this guy playing CDM for my team. No. He's not big enough, not strong enough, not solid enough. I don't really care if he has an eye for goal. I don't want that in my CDM as much as the defensive qualities. And he just doesn't bring it, in my opinion. And he's not that quick or agile either, I would say. I mean, sure, he's maybe got vision, he's got technique, he's got an eye for goal, but no.
He sucks. That's why Leicester got relegated. He's not a good player.
Yeah. I mean, it depends, I guess. Okay, he's free. Okay. What does he want then? What are his wages? What does he want? I guess it depends a little bit, but no, not really. I'm not that interested.
Okay, I want to address this comment because Ernesto here, and then I want to go to Saif and Ace and Antonio too. How the fuck you can't like Tielemans? Who the fuck you're gonna bring? KDB? What the fuck are your guys' expectations? Well, SMS I thought was a good player to bring in.
What about Adopo? Adopo is free. I think he's great at Torino. He knows Italy very well. He's been playing there for years. He's solid as fuck, that guy. Or you get Endure. Endure is like that Benfica talent I was showing you, Roy. That teenager, the Italian. He's like 18. He's like 6'5", monster. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's go to Ace. What do you think about this link right here?
Could you all hear me?
Yes.
Okay. When he was at Monaco, he looked really promising. My issue with Tielemans is his mentality and his professionalism. Last summer, he was trying to get a move away from Leicester, and he didn't get the move, and his performance this season dropped tremendously. And I think his contribution is part of the reason why Leicester got relegated. So from that perspective, from a professional perspective, I don't want that type of player in my team, because I don't think it's healthy. But in terms of on the field, I know that our scout, what's his name again? Not Wakanda. What's his name?
The
The
scout.
Moncada.
the guy who's in charge of the scouts.
Moncada.
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 Yeah, he really likes Tillman as a profile for Milan. So I don't know. I would be willing to give him a chance. He's kind of young, but yeah, my biggest concern with him is his level of mental professionalism.
Okay, interesting. I didn't know that side about him. Yeah, I don't know much about him. I just saw him play in the Europa League against Napoli and against Roma a few years ago, and I saw him play against Italy twice. So that's all I know about him. All right, let's go to Antonio. And let's finish with Saif. Antonio, what about you, Tillsman? You want him? No? Yes?
I mean,
Somewhere in
here,
between?
so I agree with what Hans and Rock said in the sense that I don't want him to play CDM because from what I've seen, he's not like a reliable defensive player. So in our system, we can't have someone playing there. Can he play cam? Yes, but will he be like a very dynamic moving cam? I don't think so. I think he's suited for a midfield of three, sort of a different formation. I think that he has it in him to maybe try some shots from outside the box because although he doesn't score a lot of them, he has scored some really nice long distance goals. So that is the positive, and he's free. So I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to him. I'm just curious about where he's going to play, and he's one of those players who he doesn't have a lot of quantity, but he does have more quality than like some other players. So
Who are we talking about? Sorry.
Tielemans.
Tielemans, okay.
So for me, like I wouldn't be opposed to it, but we need more, not just Tielemans.
Okay. Let's go to Safe next. What's up, Safe? How you doing, bro?
I'm great, man. What about you?
Great, thank you. Go ahead.
Well, guys, the way I see it is we say Krunic is good enough when he's a fighter. If Krunic can be good enough in this formation and can have positive performances, I'm pretty sure Tielemans can do that as well.
Good
Who was
point.
a player, he was a player that's better than Krunic in every footballing sense. Maybe Krunic maybe a little bit faster, but that's not saying much. That's not saying much. He was a very promising player when he was in Anderlecht. Many people thought he would become one of the best midfielders in the world. It hasn't really planned out to be like that, but he turned out still to be a very, very good midfielder. In his prime in Leicester, he was linked with Arsenal, Man United, Barcelona at one point. There's a reason why top teams would want you. I agree that he has showed lack of professionalism, but put yourself in his position. He's been at a club that has stagnated, that has refused to sell him time after time after time. So I think there's a reason why he hasn't performed. While I think he's not one of the best midfielders in the world, I still do think he's a very good midfielder. He can fill that CDM role, but he's best suited in a team that has a midfield three. But like I said, in the Serie A, in the level right now, which has definitely gotten better, but Tielemans there would add a lot of quality in our team. We need guys that can shoot. The only guy that shoots in our team is Tonali, and that's very occasional. And we need guys who have good passing range, because a lot of times we cannot break teams down because we don't have skillful and people that can break down lines and make great passes. So we need a player like him, whether we like it or not. And he's free, and he's 26 years old, so we can't really complain about that.
Would you guys talk about Indoor being free as well?
Oh, dude, your microphone is
No, Nathan.
microphone. Just check your microphone.
Yeah, I'm gonna reset my phone. I'm gonna reset it. Come back.
Is that Nathan or Marv?
Yeah.
Nathan is bringing freedom to Mars right now.
Give me 2 seconds, and then we'll talk about Indoor. Hold on.
All right, perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, guys. So it looks like we covered that. I don't know if anybody wants to debate about Tielemans. I think that's. So listen. Okay, let's go towards Indoor by talking a little bit about the Italy under-20 team yesterday that made the finals. A great campaign from Italy under-20. Specifically, since we're talking about midfielders, Casadei, 7 goals in the World Cup. 7 goals, top scorer of the World Cup as a midfielder.
I've been having so much fun watching this World Cup.
Casadei, obviously, listen, Hans got a lot of shit for CDK. Yeah, he got a lot of shit for CDK, but Hans was the one telling us a few years ago that Casadei is like the guy to get. He is a player to get. This guy is the future. Bro, you are right about Casadei, man.
I mean, it's not hard to tell. It's really not. When he's scoring, he was a top scorer in the Primavera as a midfielder. And I watched some of like the full games of Inter just to see him, and like some other players too, but like he was always the one that stood out, always.
And right now he's in the championship, so Chelsea bought him, and
top
Inter
scorer in the championship. Sorry,
in the championship. No, he's not. Can't be.
In the World Cup, he's top scorer.
Oh, in the World Cup, I'm talking about the English championship, the Serie B.
Okay.
So he is currently Chelsea bought him. Because Inter sold him to bring back Lukaku to fund the Lukaku operation. There's idiots, just pure idiots.
Talking about Casadei.
And this is what Red John wants. See? Okay.
Yeah, he's on loan at Reading right now. But so we're talking about these young Italian players coming up. I think Italy right now, the new generation coming up is looking very good. I did look at Endure a little bit more, and Endure also looks good to me. He looks very, very promising.
So he's also on the free. Why are we not going to go get him?
Because he hasn't played professionally, technically, yet. Because he's 18.
I read that Benfica played him like a little bit towards the end.
I can check, but I think he's only been in the U23 team.
I could be wrong. But I thought I read that they gave him a little something towards the end.
Maybe to try and convince him to renew. Maybe they did.
I mean, like he would be, if we bring in, because even if we brought in a Tielemans or whoever, like Endor can learn.
Really see it.
Endor can learn from any of these guys. To be honest, like I just feel like if he's free, this shouldn't be something that we should be hesitating on. Just go bring him. Like this is my problem. Like they're so worried about only getting established players that are on free, and they're not worried about the future young players that can become established in 1 to 2 years from learning from another professional player. Like they're too, they have too much tunnel vision when it comes to these types of signings.
You are correct. He did get a cameo appearance.
Yeah, I thought so.
He came on as a second striker. Yeah,
that's interesting. I mean, but like these are the things like you can, because we were talking about not having enough depth earlier, but these are our side. I guess I'll just call them purchases. I mean, I guess maybe acquisitions is the better term since it's free. These are side acquisitions that could be done at the exact same time as you trying to get a higher profile. Like these guys need to broaden the way that they're doing things. Like you can't just do one person at a time. If you have free people, try and get multiple done at the same time, especially when they're young, like Endure. Like it just doesn't make sense why they can't focus on more than one thing.
Yeah, I think it's a no-brainer, honestly. Just like I think the Scamacca loan is a real no-brainer. I'm very certain we could get something done.
Right. Like it's just ridiculous that these guys are trying to do the most instead of doing what's obvious.
And then also for the midfield, since we're on the topic, Fratesi for 20 million. I mean, that would be, in my opinion, he is like a Benacer type of midfielder. He's very combative, but he can also play a little bit further forward because he's very technical also. which Benacer has. I know he's more one-footed, but Benacer is more one-footed, but like, yeah, Fratesi for me, that would be fantastic. Fratesi, Endur, Adopo. That's only like 20 million.
Is more probable than any of these guys. Any player that plays in Italy, is Italian or not, I don't think Milan is going to get any player from Italy right now, especially because it's all about saving money, keeping working in these limitations. There's no players are ever going to be getting in Italy because of that tax thing that I was talking
I saw Baldonzi was in another article today is still one of the options to revamp the midfield. So if it is, it will be Baldonzi. It won't be anyone else from Italy.
I'm going to make a prediction on Baldonzi. Baldonzi right now plays as a cam, and he reminds me a lot of Pirlo and Modric when they were younger. They played as cams, and then they were used, and then they were deployed a little bit deeper in the midfield. I think he's going to have a similar situation where he's going to play as a cam, and then he's going to be deployed a little bit deeper.
I like that Modric comparison. That's a good one, right?
In a 3-man midfield, sure, but not in our double pivot. I don't think he could.
No, not a pivot player. Just deep.
Do we think Pioli's gonna stay with the 4-2-3-1? I keep getting this feeling that Pioli was trying to do something different, or he wants to try and do something different. I mean, we'll have to wait and see, of course, but I don't know.
I think it's a great formation against like 4-3-3 type of formations. I think we do really well in that situation. Like Napoli, I think we have their number, honestly. Like, I know they look the better side a lot of times, but in my opinion, we have their number. Like, when teams want to come at us like that, and I think we can hurt them significantly.
Okay, guys, listen. Anybody else wants to add to the midfield debate? Ace, Giovanni, Antonio.
Roy, can you hear me? I just wanted to address the points that Nathan made about those young Italian kids coming through. My concern is that, and you can see it over the last maybe even 3 years that Pioli has been here. He doesn't really help develop the youth at all.
100% agree with what you're saying.
He doesn't. Either he doesn't have the faith, or he's too afraid to play them in that position and give them the chance to develop. So it's all well and good to want all these young promising players, but if they don't have opportunity to get a look in on the first team, what's the point us even talking about trying to get these players the Victor from our Premier? He doesn't even want to sign because he doesn't think he's going to get a shot. So that's my concern with the midfield and letting the younger players come through. It's just Pioli doesn't really trust them.
That's why I keep saying that we need to get an Italian core, because then he has no option. Our core needs to be Italian, number one, because we are in fact an Italian team, so we should have an Italian core. But
it's never gonna.
Yeah, I agree. It's never going to happen. But Pioli, not just Italian. Look at Elitu. You guys saw that he declined another offer.
Actually, he said that was fake news. Elitu actually posted that on his Instagram, saying that was
okay. Okay, that's good. But regardless of if it's fake or not, why has he not gotten a chance to even have minutes with the first team? This is my I can't remember who was talking about Pioli, but this is the main problem. Yeah, Ace. Yeah, Pioli does not give chances to these young players. You don't give chances to all of them because they're not all at the level. But there are a handful of players that are at the level.
Who did you want to see him give more time to?
I mean, Elitu is one of them.
Me personally, I would have loved to see Popega more this year.
Yes.
I don't think we saw him enough.
As a matter of fact, you bringing up Pobega is good, because each time Pobega's come in, he's actually looked like the person to score a goal than anyone else on the field.
He scored when he came on.
Yeah. I agree. I think
He's
if
got a great shot from the outside too. Like he's dangerous.
but the problem is he's another player that's like Adley who doesn't fit a 4-2-3-1 because he's
Yeah,
a center mid.
fit it. He doesn't fit
If
it.
we switched if we
I would have
switched to a
loved to see
4-3-3,
Pobega
it'd be
even less.
different.
I would have loved to see Pobega even less.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Even though he showed he can score goals and actually make
that
forward
one
passes.
goal was really nice. I'm happy
No,
for
no.
him that
But
he got
he makes
that.
forward passes as well too. Like we were talking about players that can't break a low
Oh, but
block.
I wanna know
Pobega's the
why
only one that passes forward.
So with Pobega, I find him to be extremely clumsy. The way he gets around the pitch, committing really just fouls all over the place.
solid defensively.
Also, his passing range significantly drops like precipitously as soon as he's tired, and he gets tired pretty quickly. Like as soon as it hits 40 minutes of him on the pitch, his quality drops like a stone.
Well,
So-
that's because of there's a difference between normal endurance and game endurance. If you don't play, you'll still be in shape. Like you'll be great.
Able to do the 90 minutes.
Yeah,
Right.
I don't particularly like Pobega as a player. I think Vranks could have done a similar job. I think Adley, even deployed in the midfield role, could have done a better job than Pobega. I'm happy that Pobega had a couple of good glimpses where he was completing passes for 5 minutes and scored that goal. But other than that, I don't see much more in this player. I think we should sell him.
But Clint, or not Clint, my bad, fucking Rock. The problem is if you're a player and you're only given a handful of minutes, like every 5 or 6 games, your technical side isn't going to be as high because you're trying to do more to impress the coach. That's just a side effect of not getting the time that you want. And then when you do get the time, you need to go above and beyond what you normally do. So it's a double-edged sword, essentially, because if you do just the basic things and it doesn't amount to anything, you're not going to get game time. So you have to take a chance and do more.
He brings a good, he's gritty to him. He brings that little toughness into the middle too, right? Like his vision's not bad. He's good defensively. Like he plays the body good. He's got a great shot. Yeah, he gets tired, bro, but when you're not playing week in, week out, and you're getting 5 minutes here, you're not playing for 3 weeks there, you're only practicing, you're not going to see his best qualities.
Look at Torino. Look at Torino.
I think the only thing Pobega brings is a decent amount of work rate, and even then, he can't really get around the pitch well.
But what about Torino when he was there?
Short range passes, maybe like 5, 10 yard, 15-yard passes maximum, nothing more than that. And then maybe an eye for goal if your team is basically living in the opponent's area for the majority of the match. Like he might pop a shot, here and there. But other than that, I really don't see much more in this player. I don't think being able to do the basics well, and even some of those basics, he doesn't even do them well enough. Like the way he challenges for the ball and concedes fouls. I don't even think he does all of the basics.
Did you watch him when he was on loan?
Torino? Yeah, did you see him on Torino?
Yeah, I watched him at Torino. I think he was like a serviceable midfielder at Torino. He was one of their best midfielders, and I don't think that their midfield department was particularly strong in the first place. So it's not like the bar was that high there. It's just not enough for this current Milan and where we want to be. I just think he's too far behind in terms of his progression to contribute like in a Champions League with Milan.
That's fair to say because he doesn't get the time.
Yeah, and if he's not going to get the time, I think it's honestly best for his career and development, and probably best for us in the short term to sell him if there's an offer.
This is going to be the excuse of every single young player we have because Pioli does not know how to integrate them.
Yeah, how old is Pobega, by the way? Is he like 24, 23?
About 24.
Yeah, he's fairly young.
I would say by the time you're 24, I think you need to show a bit more than being okay at some of the basics. I just think he's not.
This is the problem though in Italy. In Italy, the young players are not afforded the chance to play at a level like Milan until they're 24. Whereas in other leagues, they're allowed to play on the top teams when they're like 16, 17, 18.
Yeah, I mean, I
So,
agree with that. I would just say that there are probably 19, 20, 21-year-old midfielders that are better than Pobega. So I'm fine with giving youth a chance. I just
but
think
that's the problem.
I just
Pioli
think
doesn't do
Pobega,
it.
I think he's not it. He's not
But
it.
Pioli doesn't do it though. Those 19 to 20-year-olds that are better would be sent to the Primavera, and they're gonna be their abilities are gonna go down just like what's his name? Trior.
Yeah, I
If I
honestly
could
think
just add,
the 4-2-3-1 formation kind of limits
Doesn't
like
suit
our
him.
tactical flexibility, what type of midfielders we can deploy. I think if we played with a midfield three, he would be able to give more opportunities to players like Adli, Pobega, and all these guys. But
Bronx
because
too.
of the rigidity of that formation, it's kind of hard to deploy young players in that
if I
pivot.
could
It
just,
really
if I
is.
could just, if I could just contribute really quickly, I just want to
Yeah.
make 2 points. Firstly, on the formation, we play that formation specifically to like exploit Leao's characteristics on the field, and for that point, I don't think that we're going to change. And we like the team that we're going to be building, or the team that's built, is built around Leao's strengths. Firstly, and then just to add to the Pobega argument, if we remember last summer, the reason why we didn't get a replacement for Kessie is because we had Pobega. And Pobega has shown over this season that he does not have the capacity to fill that role in the way that Kessie did for us. And because of that, I think we need to strengthen and maybe let him go back out on loan and, play in a different league and see if he could build up himself a little bit more. But I do agree that Pioli doesn't give our younger players enough of a chance. But it's kind of an irony because we also do have a very young team, so there is some kind of uh, gap where we don't really understand why he's giving the young people more of a chance. So I just think that's really interesting and just something to remember with Pabega. Like he had his opportunities this season and he really didn't, fulfill the expectations that we were looking for as a club. So I think he has to probably move on as well.
Does anybody agree or disagree with Nathan's and Ace's point regarding Pioli and not being able to develop youngsters? Anybody wants to challenge
I
that?
disagree with that for the most
Okay,
part.
go ahead, Hans.
Honestly.
Challenge, fight.
Well, wait. Okay. I mean, the teenagers. Okay, we haven't seen too many of those come in. But I mean, with the younger players, I mean, our team has been full of younger players. What do you? I don't know. I don't understand. Like Tonali has been growing with us. You've got, let's see, you've got Obega who's getting some chances. You've got, let's see, Chow who's now getting a lot of chances. He showed what he could do, and now Pioli's like, I can't drop this guy. CDK was getting a lot of chances at the beginning. He just kind of threw him into it. Salamakers was always getting chances. Leao was always getting chances, and he's grown into a great player. Salamakers has grown into a great player. Yeah, I mean, how many young players can we really bring up? We're Milan, remember? Kalulu, how could I forget Kalulu? Kalulu was starting, at the end of the season, won us the Scudetto. He was a starting CB pairing with Tomori for most of the season until Chiara got back. Yeah.
I think calling Salamakis a great player is a little bit of a stretch. I think he's a good player. Great, I'm not sure.
He's developing into a great player.
Bro, what is going on?
Maybe he needs like 2 more years. I don't know.
What?
I think Salamakis needs like he needs like at least 2 more years to develop into that great player that you see. But I don't know if it's going to be at Milan, just because we've given him like he's going into his 4th year.
Mm.
So yeah.
Well, he's been getting important goals now, and if he adds that to his game, there's nothing bad you can say about him because his work ethic and his character has always been fantastic, in my opinion. His defensive ability as well. His ability to press and win the ball back high up. That's very, very important. That's like creating an assist, basically, like a hockey assist at times.
My only issue with that statement regarding the development of youth is development of youth takes time. And when Pioli, 3 years ago, Pioli developed the players that he was given, with the whole team developed those players, and they got us to win a Scudetto. They got us to win a semifinal. Yes, with the help of more experienced players, but. I think that it is unfair to say a coach can develop youth based on one season, especially if that season is the season that you're supposed to defend the title. Youth need time. And that's why youth players cost what they cost, and already made players cost what they cost. So I don't really agree with this argument so much, but
maybe they mean the Primavera because we haven't seen the Primavera players come through. We lost Kerkez because he was expecting, I think, a role more in the first team, and he didn't get that. And I don't think we've seen any Primavera products really come up from the Primavera directly into our squad at all.
Yeah, we've had no talent.
Even though we can see that these guys they have some talent, and maybe they could come in for some minutes, and they're not getting introduced, for 5-10 minutes in certain games that maybe we're winning.
I mean,
I feel like every game that we play is close. Like it's a fucking struggle usually.
If I could just respond to Roy's statement,
so you can't put in the youth really when you're only winning by one goal.
But Roy, if you remember, like the years before we won, like the 2 years we won, before we won the league, like we had no choice but to play like Pure. You had no choice but to use Leao and be patient because we didn't have any other players in the squad, nor did we have the money to go and bring in the players that he wanted. And when you look at the players that he wanted, it was older players. He wanted more. He always emphasized that the squad was very young, and that he wanted experience in the squad.
Yeah.
So like
that, I do agree with it. It took like a crisis usually to get them in the team,
and it paid off. And
maybe that's because they had these older guys. They were learning from them for months and months, and then they got their shot. Kalulu, he was learning for like a year, before he got his shot, at least a year.
I know, but when you look at
you need that time, and you need that older, experienced player maybe in front of you a little bit at times, or certain players do at least.
But also when you look at the rise of Leao and Theo Hernandez, and it coincides with the introduction
their
to
game
Zlatan.
Time. Yeah, their game time. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, well, I'm talking about their performance enhancement, right? Like their levels raised only when Zlatan came into the squad. You know what I mean? So that's where my argument with Pioli not being able to develop the youth comes from. It's that before Zlatan, he was struggling. Like we were looking at a new coach. We were looking at Ragnarok or whatever his name was, and Pioli was on his deathbed with Milan. And then we brought Zlatan in, and there was a resurgence. And now you're even seeing that Pioli wants Zlatan to come back and be part of his team. So, like, those are the signs that I've noticed that would indicate to me that Pioli doesn't really know how to develop or have the confidence to develop our youth.
Those are good arguments because it took emergencies always to get these players in, and he's always requested more experienced players, saying our squad is usually too young.
But look at the past 2 years.
Every time those young players came in, though, they did well, and they've become important players in our team, like Kalulu, Tonali,
But
Salamakers, Leao.
But even look at Napoli too. They got rid of their old guys and they said, you know what? Let's bring in some young guys. It's proven to work. Milan just showed us that we can bring in young kids and we can win a championship. Napoli got rid of their old guys, brought in some young kids, panned out for them, and look, they won it.
Yeah,
And-
but that's
and-
one in a
and-
million.
Well,
mean it's
we
gonna
don't
work.
know that. What happens if Milan or Napoli end up winning again with a young squad?
But hold on,
I mean,
hold on.
they weren't
Hold
they
on,
weren't
guys.
young. I would say.
Let's talk
the
about
Napoli
Napoli's.
squad.
The only two young players I brought in was Vicha, who was 21, and Raspadori was 22. All the other players are mid.
No, Vicha was 22.
No,
He was born in 2000.
When he came in, he was 21. Now he's 22. And same thing. And when Raspadori came in, he was 22. Now he's 23. But Oliveira is mid 20s. Simeone is mid 20s. Ndombele is mid 20s.
Yeah.
And Kim is mid 20s.
Oh
and again,
shit!
Yeah, but Roy,
Vicha's
Roy,
younger
do
than I
you-
thought.
Roy,
listen,
I thought he
Roy,
was born in
do you-
2000.
but
do you think that like which player do you see purely developing at Milan?
Well, I just this is even out of my experience. Like players don't develop in 1 year. Players develop in multiple. Like you got to.
Yeah,
Players develop
Yeah.
slowly. That's what I'm saying. It's like
Okay,
it's
so
a
before-
seed that
like,
needs
before
water. It's a
Zlatan
seed
came,
that
who
needs
did
watering.
Pioli
You know.
develop?
he
Hold on,
only he
wait,
only,
one
only
second,
failed
guys,
this
one at a
season in
time.
developing young players. He hasn't failed before that. His failure is this season, this particular season. But there's not just the young players, the whole team in total, not just the young players. Everybody failed this season. They played below par. So it's not just the young players. It was a difficult season for Pioli as well. So maybe it's not just his fault.
Okay, but my question to Roy and to the purely developing young players argument is before Zlatan came in, Pioli was in Milan for like 2.5 years, right?
No,
He
No.
came in right after.
was
Oh,
couple of
maybe
months.
like a year.
He came in
It
right
wasn't
after.
even a
it
year.
wasn't a year, guys. It wasn't a year.
It was like 3 months before Zlatan.
He came in like October, I think, or the
Yeah.
November.
And Zlatan came in January.
Really?
Yeah, he came in January. Yeah.
It's 3 months.
The argument that you're making, Ace, is the argument that good players, experienced players, make everybody play better. Zlatan Ibrahimovic is someone that makes everybody play better because he's a genius footballer. But still, Leao needs his time to develop, to grow. It doesn't happen in one season. It took him 3 seasons, and we saw that without Zlatan, these players don't play as well.
Yeah.
You know.
But why does he want to get rid of CDK after only 1 season? And why hasn't he not like?
Because
why is
listen,
he, why is
because
he not? Go ahead. Sorry.
because CDK is the only player that hasn't shown anything. We saw the flashes of brilliance of Leao. We saw the flashes of brilliance of Tonali. We've seen it from everybody. We haven't seen a single thing.
Not
from
one
CDK.
game.
Yeah,
Not one
I think
game
that's
did
the
that guy
point.
play. Did he ever show us anything to say, let's keep him? Everything,
Yeah.
every time he
That's
went on the
bullshit.
field. Yeah, no, I'm telling you, dude. There was how many
Well,
times?
it's your
did he-
opinion, but it's
How
No,
many
No, it's
times did he?
everybody's
Correct.
opinion.
But how many times did he screw up passes? He missed open nets. Like he looks weak on the ball.
He has 1 assist in 30 plus games.
Yeah,
You
but
know,
One
that
I
was
assist.
the same when he first
give
came, right?
him time.
I
Give
remember
him
How
time.
much time?
the podcast.
Tato
And he had
2
Rosado has
more
the
years.
same stats in less games.
Sorry.
Every
What I was-
young player that we
Yeah,
had
did
before
you hear that?
showed
The
something.
goalie has the same amount of.
I don't care.
Showed
I don't
something.
care.
at least.
But we were
CDK
saying
is not a listen. CDK is not a problem of the talent. He has the talent. It's a mentality problem. He's just
And
not
it will
fit for Milan.
get better. He was learning a new
No.
position as well and
No.
a new
That's a
language.
mentality
Okay,
problem.
Andon. The Leao had a mentality problem. All young
But
players have
Leao
mentality
showed signs
problems.
of
The
brilliance
problem,
before.
guys. Sorry,
Because
Andon,
Leao is a better overall athlete. He's more explosive. That's why he
Let me
showed
bring
signs
some-
to you because
let me
you
bring
see the
some-
flashes more.
But even Tonali showed
CDK isn't
flashes.
as explosive.
To-
There's
No,
more context.
everybody was like, we should get rid of Tonali. That's what everybody
Yeah.
said, Andon. Everybody
No,
fucking
nobody-
said
No,
that.
I don't know anybody who said that.
I know everyone who.
I don't know
said-
anyone who
nobody
said
said-
that.
There are people
Okay.
who did say that.
But
Well,
Even
you
Leao,
said
even
that
Leao.
you saw
Yeah,
flashes
even
of
Leao.
brilliance from Tonali. You haven't seen
Mm,
anything from CDK.
Do
He
you
was very
remember when
slow.
people calling Leao
Tonali,
Leao?
when he first came, he was late. He was reading things late a lot.
But he had a couple of
And it
good
would look
games.
like he couldn't
CDK
play in a
hasn't
double
got a
pivot.
single good game. A
Yeah,
single
not one
good
good
game.
game.
I don't know what to tell you guys. I've seen good things from him at times. I've seen good
Win,
things from
win,
him.
win.
Let me put my 2 cents
Even in the
into
last,
this,
even
guys.
in the last match, you guys. Yeah, even in the last match when he came off the bench.
Milan is the
He
other
gave us 4 good minutes.
the other issue with what going back
It was
to
more
even
like
what Ace was
15.
saying is right now Milan is not in a position where we can wait 3 years for a player anymore. So that's one of the reasons why CDK is probably not in the plans anymore. He didn't work out for Pioli. Maybe he would work out with another coach. That's a different.
That's very short-sighted to just give up on this guy. What they should do is get like
Send him out on loan.
Kamada. No, they should get Kamada, and then he will get his chance with Kamada. He'll get his chance eventually. He'll prove himself. Believe me, he will prove
So
himself.
the under 21s are going to be happening soon. He's going to be one of the stars of the under 21 Belgium team. Let's see how he performs
He's
there.
got to show us something there. He's got to show us something.
Yeah, but they're gonna use that tournament to try to
But,
get money.
but we are saying this from the start of the season. You gotta show us something. You gotta show us something, and that moment never
He
came.
did show us the end on. You were pro CDK for a long time. Okay, you
Yeah,
were showing things
I
in
was.
the beginning. Okay,
I was sure,
So
but he
why
didn't
do
show
you? Why
anything.
don't be like Rock? Come on, you're better than that. Don't flip flop.
It's not like Rock.
be honest-
He didn't show anything.
Who's slipping on what? I heard my name. Hans.
Rock.
Yeah,
Rock.
yeah.
Rock's being fired.
Guys, whenever the conversation revolves around CDK, Hans gets defensive and starts
Well,
just
because
Dude,
everybody
he just
flips
like a
off on him.
scattered shot, like, oh, who can I
Yeah,
find?
he got the
You will never live it down.
Look
No.
at that smile. from him.
Never.
Come
What?
on, Hans.
Is that Hans?
What do you want? I don't know what's happening.
Nice to put a face to you know what? You know what I mean?
No, but for real.
Oh my
CDK
goodness.
CDK, like
Oh, I see what's happening.
he has to show us a little bit something, and if he does have a good tournament, I see them selling him to try to get the most that
listen.
they possibly can.
There is no doubt that CDK will be a good player, maybe a great player, but he's just not the fit. He's not the
Yeah,
Milan
not
type
at
of
Milan.
player.
Not at Milan.
How can you say that? What do you mean not at Milan? What?
Bro, he
Of
gave
course
us
he can.
He cannot handle the weight of the Milan shirt.
played so many
CDK
games.
lets his girlfriend feed him ice cream in public.
Yell louder.
Dude,
I don't care, man.
I don't-
he's not Milan
I don't
material.
care.
I don't
He's
know.
not
I don't
Milan
even know.
flip flop like
He should have went to Leeds and got relegated with Leeds.
I
Yes.
don't know what he does off the pitch, but I just see what he does on the pitch, and he doesn't show that, hey, I want to be here.
Just give him a full preseason. Give him a full preseason.
I do agree that he came in
Let
late.
him-
I'll give you
Let
that.
him
He
do his
didn't-
thing. Let Kamada come in. He can start, and then believe me, CDK is gonna steal that spot. He's gonna take it away from him. Let him earn it. Let him earn it. Let him earn it. Let him earn
Too
it. and he
soon.
will.
Wait,
Too
Him
what?
for the
What did you
full
say?
season, Hans.
Too
For
soon.
the full season, we are letting
He
him.
will.
We are letting him. He didn't show anything, Hans. It's a
Nothing.
mentality problem.
Is Hans
Another-
doubling down on CDK right now?
What do you mean
Sounds
double? I've
like
always said the same thing. I even told Roy
No,
he's
I'm
gonna
just- I just
struggle
wanna
probably in his
confirm
first
that.
season because he's playing Cam. He doesn't really play Cam.
Well, that was
He
a
never
bit of
really
a,
played it.
that's a bit of
For us, it's much better to sell him now, get some money, and reinforce the squad.
Especially
With
if
the
he has a
Reagan
good
now
tournament.
playing.
If he has a good tournament, ship
I
him
would
out,
wait.
get your 35 million, and let's start over.
Christian wants you to do a poll, Roy, on CDK. Keep or sell.
Well, I'm sure
But-
everybody will say to sell him.
You don't know
But
that.
I
No,
already
no,
know
no. The polls have surprised me.
I would personally
know
send
that.
him on loan.
But CDK,
I already know what I would
guys,
say.
is a perfect example of why I make the argument that Pioli isn't good with youth, because I know that we want results now, but like coaches that have know how to handle youth, have a vision, and they can see CDK or any player who's young and struggling in their first season, they'd be like, you need to be patient. Look at Vinny at Real Madrid. Like when he first
He
came
needed
to Real
years,
Madrid,
man.
exactly, and they never give up because they knew that he had that like
But
potential.
he showed
And I
again, even in those struggled years for him,
Andon,
he
you keep
showed
saying he showed it. Okay, I know
showed something.
CDK isn't explosive. I know that.
But
He
the
didn't show
objectives were
anything.
different too. That needs to be added.
Jesus.
The fact that the objectives were different. Like, guys, I'm telling you something that maybe is controversial. I think that if Leao came to Milan today at 19, right, or whatever, however old, and this would have been his first season, and our objective was to defend the title, I think we would be talking the same way about Leao as we were talking about CDK. I know that's controversial, but I really do think so.
Of course, I actually agree with you, Roy. I think that is the that would be the
Listen,
approach.
Because
but it
with
would
the
be
money we can
short-sighted.
get
No?
from CDK, we can buy Baldassi.
Oh my God.
Compete for us.
Why does Pioli want to put CDK on the market, by the way? You think that was a Pioli decision or management?
Oh, the one thing that you do believe from the news,
That's a
because
Pioli
everything's
decision.
fake news out there, is that Pioli
Yes.
wants CDK out. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think CDK is on the market?
I do.
Yes.
I think
believe it's
everybody is on the market for the right price.
I
Everybody is.
agree with that. I think everyone's on the market for the right price. I agree.
Yeah. And
Just
CDK,
CDK
they're not going to
CDK
give
is on
him
the
up for
market
like
to see
20
what
million, 25 million. Forget it. Why would they take a loss on this guy already?
I thought it was 28 million is the minimum
28
that
is
they
the
would
minimum.
accept.
I think 30 is the minimum, and I wouldn't even accept that. I would accept you're paying 35 or more than 35. And even
Yeah, but you're not
pay
gonna get
I
that
would
for
accept
him.
that, but I would understand if they accept it. I would understand because you're getting your full money back. I would understand.
But what are the chances of a club coming in outside of one of those Saudi teams that's gonna like splash 35 million for CDK
I
after
don't know.
the season?
Some EPL
But if
team
it's
might do
true,
it.
Hans, if it's true that they're going forward with Pioli as the coach for this project, and he doesn't think CDK is the type of player he needs in the system, wouldn't you want to just? Wouldn't you want to just recruit? I'm telling you,
Okay, hold on.
Hans,
You think
hypothetically, if that is the case,
Maldini just asked for this guy?
if that is the case, relax. I said, if that is the case, would you not
It's
want
not.
them to recoup as much money as possible and then invest in a player that Pioli thinks will fit his system better? You said he doesn't play Cam. So where the fuck is this guy going to play then?
Well, he can
cannot
play
play
Cam.
Cam.
He's learning it, and I think he's getting better. I think the last match he showed a really good signs. Honestly, in those 15 minutes.
So you would wait. You prefer to wait for him to develop into that position rather than get someone who's ready now.
Kamada will start there, and then he'll take it. He'll take it from him.
For me, it's just a little bit too little, too late, right? I think
Yes, it's too late.
It's like we had a year with this guy. He didn't really show us much. He can't fit in here. He can't play there. Like, it's too much to accommodate this kid when we got to start moving the ball here.
Yeah, I would try and recoup as much as possible for him. Get someone like Baldanzi. Get like another player. He's just not.
You were gonna have to wait for them as well.
Yeah, I'd rather wait for. Honestly, rather wait for Baldanzi or someone else.
Baldanzi is used to the Serie A. He has played in Serie A, and he's playing good.
Okay, Anton.
I'm not saying he's like number one.
He only got 2 goals, 0 assists. Baldanzi, I think that was his numbers. Okay.
Yeah, CDK just I don't know, man. I don't know.
So it's not like Baldanzi is ripping Serie A apart. I know he scored a great goal against Inter, and he's a Milan fan. But if you look at his numbers, okay, he got like 4 goals.
So it's much better than CDK. CDK has 0 goals.
Yeah.
Well, it's with Empoli.
Does Baldanzi does he play center attacking mid for Empoli? They play a 4-3-3 and he's in the midfield 3?
I would love to see this Baldanzi kid come there.
Baldanzi plays attacking mid, but
yeah, I know he can play. He can play attacking mid. He can play off the right, and he can play in the midfield 3. I think.
That's good, bro. He's versatile. We need that.
Well, you can get Baldanzi and not give up CDK. You can still do that, I think. You can get Baldanzi, and Baldanzi can Well, because Baldonzi, I guess, can start since you think that he's
So
gonna.
reports are coming out that there was a rift between Maldini and Pioli, and there were some points of contention between the two of them about the direction of the team, the coaching, the tactics, etc. I'm not saying they're true. I know they're just reports.
We've been arguing about this all day, Rock.
And then
about
also,
that.
so if those reports are, let's say there's a little bit of truth to it, and let's say there's a little bit of truth to CDK not being in Pioli's plans, if you connect some of these dots, and if they're true, or even a little bit true, it starts to paint the picture that CDK was not a Pioli. Pioli didn't want CDK.
No,
Didn't think
he didn't even use
I
them.
guess Maldini was going rogue then, like these newspapers are saying. Maldini
Yeah, it's
went
possible.
completely rogue, and he's giving players to Pioli that Pioli never wanted, and expecting Pioli to integrate them and play a style of football that Pioli doesn't want to play, and Maldini wants him to do it. And there's this huge rift, and then Jerry is like sending him the email, and he never got a reply from Maldini for months. He just left it there. Oh my God.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I agree. I think this is a smear. I think it's a smear campaign to try and cover their tracks because of the fan reaction. But
if we are
he
saying,
did play him though. Actually, that's not true. He only did play CDK. He started him when he first signed him. He was starting him.
Yeah, he was starting almost every game.
Yeah,
He was starting
He did
every
fairly
game.
well. You did fairly well.
I don't know about that.
I was gonna say, Leonardo. Well, that's your opinion. Whatever.
CDK gets
Leonardo
pushed
was
off the
saying
ball.
a good
CDK gets
thing.
pushed off the ball like
Oh,
he's
God, here
an
we go.
elementary
Jesus
school
Christ.
kid. Like he literally
Okay,
gets
stop
pushed off the
interrupting.
ball like he's an elementary school kid.
and he's a big kid.
I don't give a fuck.
Pretty big.
I don't give
But
a fuck.
for his size, it's
well,
actually
he does
shocking.
the Diaz workout.
But
Yeah.
I can't believe Diaz is stronger than
the way that he
CDK.
improves, man. Yeah,
CDK
it's gonna be
needs-
shocking the way that he improves. Believe
we
me.
checked his weight ratio with his height, and CDK does not have enough muscle mass. He's
Put him
very-
on Atalanta steroids. ASAP.
So he needs to get more muscle mass for sure.
Yeah,
I've
he
been
needs
saying that
steroids.
to you guys for a long time. He needs to do that during the preseason. He needs to go on the Diaz routine. Anyways, now I lost my train of thought. What I was gonna even fucking say.
If I could just jump in.
Leonardo said a great point that everybody is involved in these choices. Okay, it's not Maldini, it's not just Pioli, it's not every fucking management, every coach is involved in fucking signing these guys. Everybody's involved in it. It's not one
Guys-
or the other. Everybody's involved in this. That's true. That's the
Good
truth.
segue. Good segue. What did you guys think of Leonardo's words and how shocked he is how this happened? Kaká said he's shocked. Nesta says he's shocked. Everybody in the football world is shocked.
It's unbelievable.
Leonardo said the day-to-day work that is never really talked about, like how precious that is and how that will be missed. So Leonardo did talk about that.
Yep. Yeah, this is what I said yesterday in my comments. People really underestimate the level of involvement Maldini had, not just on the market, but with the players themselves in terms of their development and the direction of the team, the belief that they have in themselves to go forward, to lift trophies. It's so much more than people are giving him credit for. And you don't just lose the guy that's like putting together your transfer strategy. Like you lose a legend who did so much more than that. He brought way more value than that.
He's like a sports psychologist that's like the godfather of defending, and you have this guy talking to you every day, basically to explain things to you in the bad times, to give you the words of advice, to be there on the training ground to say things to you,
Yep. Sporting advice, life advice, everything.
Little things, everything.
Yeah.
Every fucking thing.
I mean, guys, every single sports outlet around the world in every language you can imagine, every former professional player, coaches, everyone who knows objectively more about football than we do is against this move. Everyone is against what happened.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and listen,
let
I
that
argue.
sink in.
I argue. My only argument is this. Okay, it is really unfortunate because for the longest time, a lot of us thought that Milan needed Maldini to come and work in order to put things back on track. But okay, sure, Jerry doesn't work out. He has a different vision. Maldini has a different vision. Don't fire him this way. Do not fire him this way. Like, at least fire him with fucking dignity. That's
Yeah,
the
that's the point.
minimum we can ask.
I can't believe they fired him when he still had a year left on his contract. Him and Massara both. So they're literally paying them to leave.
Oh no, Massar resigned, so that means Massar's his contract is done.
Okay, well, they, still with Maldini, they paid him to leave. That's how done with them they were. So whatever it was big, I guess. I don't know exactly what it is. I mean, the theory, of course, is that Maldini wants to sign top players and he wants to go for trophies. He wants more money. That's the, I guess, theory that most of us have around here. Or do you want to give your theories, or was that already in a different live, I assume?
What was the theories, Hans, about just the direction of what?
Yeah, like why Maldini? What is your theory then? Like,
no, it's not a theory. It's we know for a fact.
So it's because he wants to win trophies now. They don't care about that. He doesn't want to sell top players. They want to sell top players. Budget.
It's because of the finances. First of all, it's because of strategies. It's because of direction. Jerry, when he bought
and you
this
mean
club,
by strategies and direction, like selling your top players, buying only youngsters,
in order to cover the expenses.
What do you mean by strategy?
Moneyball doesn't necessarily mean you're going to buy only youngsters, by the way, but it does mean that you're going to buy players based on this scheme. Basically, Jerry has his vision, the Toulouse strategies, and they just don't go along with what Maldini wanted to do. Maldini had his ideas. Jerry has his ideas. Jerry is the one that owns the club, so Maldini has got to go. But they would have fired Maldini the day Jerry bought the club. They couldn't fire him simply because Milan won the Scudetto.
I know. That's why I was saying before, like there's just no way this is happening. Maldini is going to stay. Like, remember all throughout the summer, I was telling you guys, nope, not happening. Nope, not happening. Not happening.
Look at this.
If you remember that.
Guys, so I have a theory as well on why Jerry the Snake.
Is this the?
Fired.
Let me just tell you my theory as well. Like, at the end of the day, Maldini is so big as a presence in Milan that, like, if we continue to succeed, like, people are not gonna remember Jerry Cannali was the man that brought us there. They're gonna say Maldini is the reason why Milan is back. And when we won the league last year, that's the only reason we know about Cannali is because he bought the club. But everybody still gravitated towards Maldini as the point of reference for why we're resurging. And I feel like Redbird didn't want to get lost in the Maldini and you can't have this guy who's bigger than the company that owns the club, So it was kind of like also the positioning as well that they fired him. And like Roy said, like, if we didn't win the league last year, Maldini was gone. And I think that is a reason or element to why they fired him as well, because Maldini is just too big of a personality. Yeah. I don't know what you'll think about that theory.
Sure. I mean, if Maldini is doing his own thing and he can never be wrong and Jerry can never be right, and Jerry can never get his ideas across and do what he wants to do. Yeah,
of course he was going
to. Because Maldini is such a big personality and such a big icon in that industry, in the football industry. He can't get his ideas across, and Maldini's, I guess, being stubborn and not wanting to believe in this American businessman.
Yeah, essentially it's bad. If Maldini was on the same page, if Maldini decided, yeah, listen, I think that your ideas are right or whatever, and I'm going to do everything you tell me to do, he would still be in the club. But Maldini obviously is not going to do that. Maldini is football. Maldini has won so much. Come on, there's no way a person like Maldini is going to bow his head to some guy that just discovered a few months ago that Milan had 7 Champions Leagues. Like, there's no way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's my perception of the
So
situation.
this was
We
done
couldn't really have
totally out of ego,
both guys,
basically.
both guys could not coexist because neither were willing to compromise on their vision, and their visions were not aligned. That's essentially what happened.
Yeah.
It's a shame that they couldn't just like go 50-50 with some things, you know? Like,
I mean,
I don't
if you
understand
spend
it.
$1
I really
billion,
don't.
and you go in debt like crazy, there's no 50-50. It's my way or the highway. So that's understandable. But what is unacceptable, and the reason why I will never in a million years give any credit to this club, whether or not they're successful or not, is the way that Maldini was fired. Like, no way.
Yeah.
No fucking way.
Yeah. And then real quickly, I just want to play devil's advocate on this really quick. Moncada and Forlani, and them kind of filling in the void behind Maldini. I know that all of us are aware of Moncada's hits as a scout, but we would be lying if we said that we know the full extent of his CV and resume as a scout. Like, it's very possible that, he scouted 5 good players, and then he also recommended 12 players that he thought would be good who were utterly horrible and developed into nothing. So when you're at a director level position like Maldini was, the good, the bad, and the ugly is there for everyone to see. But when you're in a back office admin type of role like Moncada was as a scout, we're just going to be aware of your hits. Like, we're only going to hear about you when you achieve something. So let's wait and see. We don't know the full extent of these guys and their potential. We know Moncada's a good scout, but how good of a scout? Like, he scouts great players, but has he scouted just as many players who didn't go on to be great? We don't know that. We can't say that for certain. We'd be lying if we did. And then for Lani, like, the people that are saying he's the third best, like, sporting executive or whatever they called him, like, the people that were quoted saying that, weren't they American sports people? Like, they weren't in the world of football at all. And I just don't know what former baseball players, not only former baseball players, but former failed baseball players, like, why are we placing such a high value on their opinions of Forlani's potential as a sporting executive? And then, we just have to wait and see how these two guys do. Like, Maldini's shoes are huge shoes to fill.
I have faith in them. I have faith in them to do well with this club. I don't think I'm gonna.
Hey, it's good to have faith. It's good to have faith.
I'm not writing them off. Like, I'm gonna give them this transfer window, see how they do. Gonna give them another transfer window, see if they know what they're missing, and then you can base it off that. Maldini, of course, bro, he brings like so much to the table when you're talking about who we're signing and like what players he likes. He's got an eye for it, of course. But I still think that Moncada and this other guy I think they can fill those shoes to like when it comes to like balancing the books, bringing in key players, but I don't think they'll be able to fill that Maldini's coming to talk to you, hey, we want to sign you kind of thing, right? That's huge.
And they will never.
Listen, guys, if you want a stable club, a club that won't fight for titles, Redbird are okay. But if you want a club that will fight for major titles and win trophies, you're never gonna see that with Redbird.
And they will never, ever in a million years get even close to the kind of tutelage that Maldini can give to the players. Jake wants to come in. I know Jake is very pro Cardinale and pro the move. Jake, come in. This is your time. If you want to come in and debate. Also, because, guys, we're going to go on for just maybe another half hour, then I'm going to close because I can't go longer. So, Jake, now this is your time. If you want to come in and debate this topic, since we're talking about it, come in now. Now. David, Mr. Jerry, left-hand man, what's up?
Hey guys, thanks for having me again. I know I was a little bit reactive yesterday, so I'd apologize for that. But regarding the stuff that was said today, the first thing I wanted to address is three things. The first was about the Moncada stuff, and again, I do agree that we don't know everything, especially since he's. If you look into his history, the things that I've read about him, he generally is a very private person, and he doesn't really give any interviews. So it is right to say that we don't know his full history. He hasn't had the same scrutiny. There hasn't been as much of a scope on him as with Maldini. But at the same time, the reason why I think that we should, even if we don't fully trust him, we should give him a chance at least this one time. Is twofold. One, because not only do we have the examples of integration from Redbird with other clubs and the Moneyball approach in other leagues, but Moncada had a very good time at Monaco. Look at all the players from the Monaco side that reached the Champions League semifinal. I think it was the 2016-17 season. You had Mbappe, Fabinho, you had Falcao, you had Bakayoko didn't turn out well, but you had Glik, Subasic, all of these players there, and definitely more that I'm not mentioning off the top of my head. All of these players were scouted by Moncada, and he also worked with Luis Ocampos. Luis Ocampos is also one of the best sporting directors that's right now working at PSG. In addition to this, I think even if you don't want to buy that, the players that we're being linked to now, I think, are much better than the players that were linked to before. And again, I guess you could say that this is PR. The reason why I don't necessarily buy that, even though it's a possibility, at least right now, is because it's not just one journalist or one outlet that's claiming these names. So, for example, Samuel Chukwueze on the right wing, for example, uh, Indica, Thuram, these players, well, these are being reported throughout the industry, throughout different reliable journalists like Romano, Shira, Di Martio. So that's why even if there's a possibility of PR, I just don't buy that right now, and that's why I think we should put our trust in Moncada or at least give him a chance. Now the other thing regarding the disrespect thing, I think I was unclear yesterday because I do agree with you guys that he had an impact, and obviously I agree that he did a good job as a player, of course, and then obviously as a manager. The way I see it is that he did a good job, but there's a better alternative, and I do agree that it would have been in the management's best interest to give him more of a homage, be like more, I guess you could say, like basically just give him more credit instead of like the two-word social media reply. But the reason why I don't, I think that it's being over. The reason why I didn't take it to heart so much, or if the reason why I didn't care so much about it is for two reasons. First of all, we don't actually know. There's a few assumptions that are being made here. For example, Maldini previously didn't join management of like Yang Hong, for example, because he said that he wanted more power. So it could simply be that Maldini or Cardinale tried to like have this press conference about Maldini decline, or for example that or for and or not only that, you also don't know if okay, I forgot that point, but because I'm going off the top of my head. But the second thing I was going to say is that here I'll give you an analogy. So let's say you have like a foreigner that comes to America who's unfamiliar with the tipping culture. They go to a restaurant and they give no tip to the waiter, even though it's a cultural norm to do so. So what they did was not necessarily disrespectful, especially because they weren't necessarily aware of it. But what they could have done would, in order to like go along with the social norms, would be had to have given a tip. And I think that's the same thing here. That a lot of the football royalty, a lot of Maldini's friends, they're right in saying that the social norm, especially for someone of his prestige, is to give him more homage, give him just a better sending off, essentially. But I don't think that it's fair to say that it was necessarily disrespectful. I think it would have been better to give him that. But I just don't think it's like the end of the road. 'Cause we also don't know if Maldini even took offense. Like he didn't say anything. And again, I'm just saying that these you could be right. I think it's more likely that he did. But at the same time, I just don't think it's like the end of the world because imagine a season from now.
I have a
Let's say
question.
we're doing really well. Like, will it really matter?
David, I mean, I have a question for you. When did you start following Milan? How long have you been a Milan? Are you a
The
Milan fan?
2015 season.
Are you a Milan fan?
Yeah.
How long have you been following Milan?
2015, 8 years.
season.
That's pretty bad to you, know.
Interesting.
7, 8 years. Yeah.
David,
That's
can I just
why-
say-
Obviously,
To your
I'm not.
point,
I don't have as much
What
experience as
Maldini
you,
means
but
for
you know.
Milan.
David,
That's why
can I
you can
just-
never,
can I just comment to
ever
your point?
understand what Maldini means for Milan.
David, let
As
me
a
just
person,
Comment
as
to
a
your
player, as a
analogy.
director.
Wait,
Ace,
I
go
couldn't
ahead.
hear that. Could you repeat?
Maldini retired in 2009, just to let you guys know.
Yeah.
Ace,
Okay.
Let me
I
just,
didn't hear what was said.
let me just if I could just comment to David's analogy about the tipping culture in America. That's a great point. But when you are buying a club that's like when you're spending $1 billion, like you go through the necessary due diligence before you buy a club. So for him to and that's my biggest problem with Jerry is the fact of in the way he treated Maldini showed like a lack of respect. It's almost like he wanted to like break Maldini down
It's
or try to bring him
almost
down to
listen.
earth. Because at the end of the day,
You buying a club for $1 billion, and you don't know like the impact of the Maldini family. Like I posted it in the group earlier. Like this is the first time since 1978 that Milan has not had a Maldini in some part of the club. Like
how could you can't
compare him the way he treated Maldini to like
But tipping culture.
just
That
being
just
naive. Like that's not him being naive at all.
and another thing. The problem is Jerry looks at Milan as a business. That's the biggest issue we have. Milan for us is not a business.
Correct. Just
Well,
real
I think
quick
it's
on
both because
Giorgio Furlani, by the way. I was just doing some research on him, and his expertise as an analyst is in investment banking. I know that he recently joined like the sports division, but for the most part, his entire CV is just investment banking, private equity firms. Like it's in finance and accounting. Like he's not a really experienced sports executive at all.
Yeah,
So
he's
If
a
I'm not
6 million
mistaken,
Milan fan. That's it.
if I'm not mistaken, isn't his role to like do with like contract negotiations, like when like so he's basically doing like the secondary part. So Moncada identifies and Fulani like does the contract stuff. Isn't
But the
that what he do with
contract,
Leao?
but
yeah,
David,
they
those
said that he
contracts
was
Listen,
is
instrumental in
nothing. Is
Leao's
nothing.
renewal, but we have no like confirmation. Like we
and
don't know if
who is
that's
gonna
true at
pursue?
all.
Listen, they can negotiate the price. They can negotiate the players. Who is gonna pursue them to join? Who is gonna make them join? Who
Exactly.
has the
Well, I
credibility?
agree.
That's true.
Maldini
He does have.
and what about star players as well?
He's
I've
he's
come and answered.
he's like he's an investment analyst, and then Moncada's a scout. He's an investment analyst, and then Gary is the guy that's going to sign off on decisions.
Maldini
Well, they
has the
think that we
power.
have more pull because we went to a Champions League semifinal and we have Champions League again. And we finished top 4 3 years in a row and we won a Scudetto the other
Yeah.
season.
So Hans,
they think that
basically
makes it up
Maldini.
for it.
Yeah. So
That's what
Hans,
they think.
No.
That's
in
what
a
they
live
think.
interview, Hans, first of all, it doesn't make up for the presence of Maldini whatsoever. But real quick, Maldini actually quoted all of those things, Hans, in an interview on CBS, and he said, "I know it looks like this team is really doing well and where they should be because we won a Scudetto, but in reality, this team is not prepared to compete on multiple fronts and continue pushing for trophies." So Maldini
right.
tried to explain that. So Hans, real quick, basically, essentially, Maldini is saying, "I know people like you, Hans, are going to be thinking this, but in reality,
fuck?
that's not." But in reality, that's not where our club
That's
actually
not what
is.
I think at all. That's not what I think
guys,
at all.
Listen,
hey, guys, once you have a chance, after I'm done, I'll speak. Go ahead,
I'm being
boss.
the devil's advocate because that's what I do to get.
No, I was thinking the
points
same,
across.
Hans. I was thinking the same thing. Like, hey, we're a more attractive destination now. But Maldini essentially explained that, hey, we're actually not as prepared to compete on multiple fronts as people think we are. We've gotten a good, we've had a good string of results and luck, but we're actually not where people think we are.
And another thing, what you're missing right now is you can have as much success. We can have won 3 Scudettos, Champions League, but that doesn't make up for the presence of Maldini. When you speak with him, when you show him respect, you can just see Thierry Henry on the semifinal, how he acted like a little kid, how Miko Richards acted. You can see that. That doesn't make up anything. No trophies can make up for that. Nothing can make up for that.
Here's the question
And
I
another
have.
thing,
Right? Go ahead.
Maldini,
My bad. Sorry.
Maldini what was able to pursue players to get lower salaries. to accept lower salaries just to come to Milan while they had better offer. You don't have that anymore. You don't have anybody to do that.
Every player, all our star players have come out and said when Maldini calls, you can't say no. How many players have said that? Theo, Liao, Mac, so many players have come out and said when Maldini called, how could you say no? We don't have that pool no more.
Right. And so I have three things actually I want to add. And then hi everybody, man. I'm at work. So
before you go, Clint, Hans, go look at the poll results. You're gonna be happy. Go look at the poll results on CDK.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised. Go ahead, Clint.
So I want to add three things. So I've been really extensive on this whole data thing. I think yesterday I even shared some stuff in the chat, old videos that I watched in the past, prior to even Jetty even buying us and all of that, right? And I mentioned, and I think I said it before, and I'll repeat that again for people that don't hear, is show me the highest, right? You show me like the highest transformation or evolution of these tactics that they're applying. Right, the highest of it, if I can look at it from being an American investor coming in and doing all of that, I can look at Manchester United, right? Because there's already a rich club. They got bought by these Americans, and they use that same frame coming in. But look where has that gone in them, right? That can be like on the investment side of Americans buying. You can look at that. From a data analytical portion, you can probably look at other German teams where Americans might not be in, but even that, you look at it, it doesn't work. So you need both. Honestly, what I'm saying, you need both. The other thing is this: and I'm speaking to that kid that said he started supporting Milan in 2015, and I can see why your reaction is like this. They're not coming in, and I'm addressing specifically for him. They're not coming in to revolutionize the game. That's the sad part of it, right? Because they have no interest in the game of football as a whole. They're looking at it as an entertainment. I promise you, if you were to want to speak to Jerry Cardinale right now, like his probably role model is a Jerry Jones, right? Look at the Dallas Cowboy team. Is a team that earns more than $700 million dollars a year, but they lose. They haven't won a chip since 1996. And that's the mentality these guys are going in with. That's the reality. Because we're used to owners when Berlusconi got Milan, is like, yo, he wants to win trophies, bring Milan to the top. It wasn't a piggy bank. And that's who fans they seek. I don't care where the money coming from. We want to win. That's why the fans watch the game. We don't watch it for entertainment purposes. That's what we do here in the state. But that's the mentality they're bringing over there, because you can already see the first signs. Like, we're not delusional. They're already showing you the first signs that, like, you can already anticipate what the behavior is going to be. Go look at every single club that was bought by Americans. Go do your research. Even just focus on Italy. Look at the Fredkin group. Look at even the guy that bought Parma, right? You look at the people that bought Spezia. Look at all these guys. Why are they going there? Because it's considered, that's the word that got back to American investors here, that Italy is a really undervalued league. It's out there on black. It's an undervalued asset. Using these terms already is dangerous, right? The word asset, I don't like it. And it's being tied to our club. That's what's out there. So that's where they all started to come in there. And I told people, look at the Super League. Who initiated the Super League, right? JP Morgan did. JP Morgan, JP Morgan. JP Morgan is the one that pulled forward the whole model for the Super League. And then other clubs in Europe banked on it. Barcelona and all these guys, they're broke. So they had to hop on. They got convinced with that. And that's the reality. That's the model we're going. So what I'm trying to say at the end of the day, Jetty's not in here for the good. All this whole praises he's saying, the fact that you fired Maldini and all that, Maldini here, Maldini's not there, these guys never came from the right reasons to begin with. And that's just the reality. And he's not even, when's the last time he had an interview, he came and put his face present? He's using people. He's doing what the Glazers are doing. That's what Man United's fans, they complain about. They said they never see the Glazers. They never see them. They never give interviews. It's the same tactics he's using. And we're already seeing the signs about where we're going. My last point I want to add, the reason why Maldini is really important, let's say the data works, that you go and you get a bunch of layouts, meaning layout in the year 1. Who's going to be there to speak to him to get a layout in year 4? Is it Fulani's going to do that? Moncada is going to be able to do that, right? How do you get a layout for? Because that's what they're going, right? They're going to go get all these guys. Who's going to talk to them? Who's going to get them there? Or is it Pioli's going to do that? Or you need that presence of Maldini because he understands the club and they can follow that lead. And we're gonna see these guys is a lot like you guys said at the beginning. They're a bunch of paper pushers. They do not understand. Moncada did that at Monaco. That was Monaco. This is Milan. The expectations are completely different. Especially Monaco getting to a semi-final, right? They're not expected to go all the way and win. I know they made it to the semi-final twice within the 2000s. But Milan in the semi-final, they're expected to win because the Milan core that saw Milan, lift the trophy now, they're in their mid-30s, they're in their late 20s, they're in their 40s, meaning they saw the team win. So it's not far-fetched. It's not old glory from the 1960s. So when we're there, the expectations become really high. So it's not going to be the same. The whole sustainability, I feel like it would have worked if he would have bought a Bologna. Meaning teams that don't want to get relegated, they can content with being staying sustainable. Teams at the upper tier, because let them go and buy Juve and have that type of mentality and see what happens. But I'm telling you, they're in for a long ride. Like it's going to unfold itself, and I think he's going to be forced either to sell the club or you're going to see. I can already see how this is going to go bad because it already happened to previous American owners that went to the Prem that failed and they had to get rid of the club. You guys will see, but that's all I wanted to add, if it makes sense.
And you have to remember as well, they're in debt. They paid a loan. They didn't buy out the club outright as well. It's not 1.2 million they paid. They paid what was it, 500 million? They still have to pay back 500 million. So, you're not gonna get top level investments. It's not top football club investments, not Champions League winning investments, not even league winning, Scudetto winning investments. This is mid-table investments, just bordering fourth place.
And that's
Europa League investments.
They just released an article, Clint. They just released an article just documenting the series of results, the strategy, and everything else from all of the American owners in the Premier League.
Mhm.
It's not good.
It's not good, I know it's not good. I know it's not good because the model they want to apply in Europe, the only way it works is if you're in a closed league and you're in a franchise league, then it makes sense because that's where they have all these schemy taxes that they are able to corroborate that you can go through the loops to be able to, recoup your loss, your draft picks, your salary cap and all that. You can play within those metrics, but you want to play with those type of metrics, use those methodologies. Coming to Europe, where it has nothing to do. The league is open in Europe, right? It's open in terms of revenue. Like it's not the same things. What you earn in Italy is not going to be the same that you earn in England. The Champions League might be the same. So there's a diversification, and you got to be really careful when you're coming in. They came in really naive with some arrogance. I think that's what happened, right? Because I think the element they left out, they looked at everything on paper, but they left out the mental element. When I mean the mental element, not just on the players, meaning even the fans, right? Even the European fans are not American fans. European fans have tradition. In America, we don't have tradition. We don't in terms of when it comes down to these sport things. We go to sport. Dude, when I go to the sport event here in the state, bro, I'm going to get lit. I'm not really watching the game, bro. I don't care. Even if my team is playing, I want to get
agree
drunk.
on you with that, Clint. We're going to get lit pre-game.
We're going to lit. We're going to go pre-game. You tailgating. That's what it's about. That's what they want to come, and you want to come and do that same mess in Europe, where like Larry. I agree. Larry said it perfectly, bro. They're just caretakers. That's all I'm going to say. Yeah.
Plenty of people get lit for football in Europe. I'll tell you that right now.
No, I'm not refuting that. I'm not refuting that. No, I'm not refuting that. That's anywhere across the world. But I'm trying to say is, it's here in America. It's emphasized more on that portion than the actual game. That's the reality because you can get away. See, in America, the thing is like in America, your team can get away having poor results just based how the league is, and you're still
no relegation.
Out.
There's no relegation.
Yeah, there's no, and even if there were relegation,
and if you do bad, you actually get rewarded with the draft picks.
You get rewarded with a draft pick. You get reward for losing, and then on top of that, the purchasing power, the purchasing power, of an American compared to a European.
Europe was all about socialism and giving free handouts. In America, they're just giving out free draft picks. You can't get relegated. Yeah. Oh my God!
Explain to me how certain teams. I mean, look now. Look at somebody like the Denver Nuggets is owned by Kroenke. Understand me? The Denver Nuggets, for the first time in the entire history of their franchise, they've been in the series the first time going to an NBA playoff. I mean, to an NBA Finals. that they might even win this series. But it tells you how these clubs are ran. Do you think these owners they had a strategy to be like, yo, we need to go and win? No, they didn't care. It's like, as long as I make my money, it doesn't matter. We'll keep the fans at bay. And that's just what it is. Like, it's not like I said, it's not sports here is entertainment. Like, you can see a college football, you can catch people going all devoted and all that, but it's different from soccer. That's why soccer is unique, right? That's why football, like like European, it's unique because and that's the portion they're missing. I'm telling you, that's
Because
the
there's
portion
real
they're
stakes.
missing. They're
Because
not
there's
understanding.
relegation, man. You don't get a free handout. You get
And it's just not that. But it's
when
not
you
the
go down a division,
right.
you get fucked. You
Yeah,
don't get
it's
a
not
free
that,
draft
right?
pick.
The financial side, the identity, right? From these people, from that, it's an identity. Like the identity is associated with a club. In America, it's not that. Yeah, you're from Philly. From Philly, I'll ask people, yo, you're from Philly? Yeah, I'm from Philly. But I'm not an Eagles fan. I'm not such and such. I don't really care. Like identities are not really related. Sometimes, like you ask an Italian, bro, there's an identity. That's why it's deeper than that, right? And us that support the club, we can even see when you see Curva going crazy, but you're not seeing that in other sports. So they're missing that aspect because they're only looking at handbooks. They're looking at paper. Oh, let's do this, let's do that. It's not gonna work.
Why is that, Clint? Well, yeah, because that's how you make money. It's safe.
Yeah, and
It's
that's
a
what I
safe
heard.
bet over there. That's what sports is over there.
When I was watching the
Safe
video
bet.
from Stephen Housen, he said, was it 1999? They said when Forbes magazine put out the list of the richest, sports team, and Man United can't. Man United was with one of the richest, sports team, in the world. They saw it as undervalued. That's what attracted them. It's already a problem. Let's say this. Let's start here. The biggest problem is already a problem when people are coming for money, meaning the owners. They get attracted to live for money already. Anything where money goes is already a red flag. Either it's corruption or even it's the bad thing, right? Somebody's going to get the shortest stick.
I think a lot of times, the owners in Europe, they're looking for prestige. That's what they're looking for. That's why they own it. It's like their toy, and they're looking to get their face in the newspaper.
But that's the thing. They're looking to prestige. Why? It goes back to what I told you. It goes back to the tradition.
Well, Berlusconi, I guess, wanted to go into politics and do other things.
No, indeed, but it goes with the tradition, meaning you embedded, you're the face. They understand. Americans are coming in. Listen to me. Jerry, buying Milan for Jerry, that's one thing I want to add. Buying Milan for Jerry was really easy because he already has a fan base. Because if he had to buy a franchise in America, you have to go create a fan, like how Charlotte FC just did not long ago. Charlotte FC went and hired a director of the fans. So they get a bunch of plastic fans that you have to buy out fans. You kind of recruit fans to bring them to the stadium, and that's how you bring revenue, right? And I feel getting a franchise, you kind of have to do, especially if you won't be able to build a franchise in a major city, because all major cities already have a major franchise, no matter what sport it is, right? It's really like the smaller other second-tier cities. Let's say if you want to bring an MLS team, all the big cities are booked from LA, Philly, they already have it. So where do you go? And nobody's going to sell you the MLS team, because MLS teams, they're worth a lot. A lot of them are worth over 500 mil. Let me go to Milan. Let me go to do this. So now he's going over there. You're thinking like, okay, maybe he wants to restore the glory of Milan. I didn't hear those words when he came in. I never heard that. Usually that's what you hear. Oh, we're going to restore the glory. I didn't hear that. All I heard was just
he wanted
asset.
to be Yankees. He said he wanted to be the Yankees, but the Yankees spend money. They don't do money ball.
The Yankees spend 40 million. Gio, the Yankees spend 40 million a year on Aaron Judge, one player. That's his salary.
That's what I'm saying. You know what? This money ball, I'm with it. But I'm going to give them an example that it didn't work. Y'all remember Coney from Borussia Mönchengladbach, right?
Yeah, Coney, yeah.
The team only valued him at $4 million, right? So, but they sold him to Mönchengladbach because they were willing to pay the $7 million. So that's not going to work with Milan. When they know Milan, even we could be in 20th place, 15th place for 20 years. They know when Milan's coming, it's a big club, and you're going to have to overpay. So Moneyball can't really work at a top club like that.
Yeah, the money ball has to go hand in hand. You need that human factor, and it's being removed. And that's like I said, like I was speaking earlier. Even in corporate America, it's those same entities that came in. I used the analogy 2 days ago. I used the analogy with Disney. I use that analogy
Guys.
with Disney. Disney not reading their audience, right? When you're making Marvel, hold on. When you're making Marvel comic books and you don't understand the audience, the people that read comic, I'm a lot in comic book stores. It's middle-aged white men that go and buy comic books. It's not little girls, it's not little boys or three. So when you're making these movies and you're expecting people to go see, those are the guys that are going to show up. And guess what? They followed Bob Iger. They had to bring him back because they were out of touch. I'm using this analogy because that's what Americans, they do at that higher level. They're out of touch with who the audience is. And that's what's happening right now.
No, I was just gonna say. I mean, look at Real Madrid and maybe Barcelona. I mean, these clubs have been winning lots of Champions Leagues in the past. They're up there with being the most successful the past 10 years, probably. Having Messi, having Cristiano Ronaldo. They have plenty of shirt sales. How much money are they making? Because last time I checked, Barcelona is in shitloads of debt. I don't know about Real Madrid.
No, they're in debt, but Barcelona's still making a lot of money. It's just the debt is high, but Barcelona still makes money. They make a lot. Trust me, I think they make Barcelona makes like 400 or 500 million a year.
They're too big to fail. They're too big to fail.
But you gotta say Barcelona can't even be clubs like that. Soccer economics, there's what they call rising like the phoenix. There's a chapter to talk about the phoenix, meaning fans or like certain entities will never let a club fail. Meaning, and they were giving history in the past how Arsenal had to help some rivals. Meaning, other teams will come in to help you out to make sure you don't fail because it's not an advantage for them. So Barcelona can never fail because Madrid is going to want to help them because that's the pride of Spain. Either the royal family, somebody's going to intervene. Because don't forget, like in the GDP of Spain, football alone brings it accounts for around $2 billion a year in their GDP. It's quite significant. I mean, it's not really a big country, right? But that's $2 billion, significant amount of money. That's what football brings. And these two guys, they're the heavy hitters. They can't let them fail. I mean, Barcelona is the representation of Catalonia, right? And then Madrid, that's the royal family. So there's an identity there. Those are not things that can just let. You're not going to come in and do some crazy shit with them and they'll be let to fail. All these levers they're doing, they have to let them do that shit because they would have been long penalized because La Liga, it doesn't even help them. Because you decide to relegate Barcelona and all that stuff, your league just becomes literally the Portuguese league or even worse than that because nobody's going to watch it. Atletico Madrid doesn't have the charisma or like the clout around its name. And I'm not talking about trophies, but just in terms of like, the aesthetics. Because there's things too you got to keep in mind. Italy was so bad for long because they said the only way Serie A becomes better is if the two Milan teams are healthy. And when Inter and Milan started to get a little bit clout, what happens? Oh, Serie A is back. It's because of us too. We fall back. Juve by themselves, nobody really gives a fuck. And that's the reality of it. So there's certain people you really need to save. England, you can't really say much about that. England, maybe Man United, you don't want them to go down, but now does it really matter? I don't think so because they got a lot of plastic fans over there nowadays, so it's different. But with us, you really got to pay attention. What I'm going to say, bro, these names they're mentioning, this campaign they're doing, I don't trust them. I don't trust bankers. I never did. The dude is a banker.
That's smart, honestly, I would say.
Hey, guys, listen, I got to close, so let's go to the last statements of the day. Let's go with Ace first. You go ahead, brother. If you're still here.
Yeah, I'm still here.
I just enjoy. I just want to say thanks to everybody for coming in and talking Milan. It really helped. It definitely helped me this week because this was a real tough week for me. Like I heard the news about Maldini like literally on my birthday, and I was like, it kind of ruined my week. So I just want to thank you, Roy, and everybody in the WhatsApp group, and the people in the chat for being here and just like talking about the club that we love. So thanks again.
My pleasure, brother. Thank you for joining us. All right, Rock, closing statements.
No, I just wanted to say thank you for having me on the live. Thanks for the discussions and debate going over the most recent news. This is our favorite topic. We're extremely passionate about this football club. We want the best for it. And just keep going. Really like these daily content coverage, forums, people calling in. I think it's borderline therapeutic for us as Milan fans. Yeah, man, just keep doing the great work and providing the venue and platform for people to talk about this beautiful club. Let's hope for the best. And ciao until the next one.
Hey, man, my pleasure's mine, and thank you for participating, man. For real. And remember, guys, subscribe to Milan Channel TV. Do not forget to do that.
Thanks, Roy.
Milan Channel TV rocks AC Milan YouTube channel. Iman, that's your name?
Oh yeah.
Closing statements.
Oh, obviously, thank you for having me on. It's nice to have a place. Obviously, English-speaking people. There's not many of us, all from different parts of the world as well. You know, it's nice to see other Milan fans for a change. But yeah, thank you for having me.
Hey, no
Good
problem.
debates, healthy debates. Appreciate everything.
Yeah, if you want to join the WhatsApp, oh, by the way, guys, the WhatsApp is crazy. It's absolutely nuts. So just note that if you join,
Disclaimer.
I'm just telling you, just
have to have,
listen to what Roy is saying right now. I'm telling you guys, listen.
Don't join, guys.
You need to have balls of steel, okay? And sometimes maybe
if you have plans to go to heaven, like if you guys are hoping to go to heaven, don't join the chat.
That's out the window. Then.
If you have bleach available to wash your eyes with bleach, then take your chances. But if you want to go to heaven, don't come.
Yeah.
I'll give you the perfect example is this. There's somebody in the chat right here on the live was the calmest guy. They used to give quick insight. They turned this dude into a savage. Literally. They messed them up. And that's just the reality of it, bro. It will mess you up. It will mess you up. It's contagious. You turn into Venom. You turn into Venom. You see when Venom gets that symbiote, it goes in? That's literally what it was.
That's a good analogy. That's a good analogy.
Guys, we lost 3 members of the group today within like 20 minutes.
Yeah,
So
don't take it personally. We're just joking.
I'm just warning people, if you are going to join the WhatsApp group, just know that that's it's going to be heavy stuff. All right, Gio, closing statements, brother.
You are my best friend.
Can we play that clip?
I don't have it.
I know Filky's watching this.
Lucas, unfortunately, we're closing, my man.
I'm sorry, man. Go ahead.
Nah, closing statement is I don't know how Moneyball is gonna work because when they see Milan come knocking, the price goes up, and then to me to give Victor Lutu, Cuenca, Simic, some chances in the team this year. If we're doing Moneyball, and you're invested in the Primavera, you got to give them time. Because the way that they working is that they trying to sell to buy a player, and it should be like, okay, we should add Indica. We shouldn't be able to sell Tomori Kalulu because that's what we need now is depth to move to go to that next level and hopefully pick up the big horns. But that Moneyball, I got to see what Billy Beans is working, but maybe they spoiled beans because it's not gonna work with us. Because once Milan comes in, the price go $2 million, it goes to $20 million. So we'll see how they figure it out.
All right. Yep.
Yeah.
And on closing statement.
Yeah, I have a bad feeling about Redbird, but I hope I'm wrong because I don't like how this is changed so far. Hopefully they're gonna do something in the summer to at least give us hope. But for now, it's kind of looking a little bit hopeless. And yeah, just we have to wait and see. And we hope that Rock will stop being an asshole in the WhatsApp group. That's it.
Gotcha. Clint, sorry you joined late, but closing statement.
Yeah, closing statement, man. I don't have a good feeling about this at all. Yeah, I'm not even going to be optimistic on this one because the first signs. All I can really say is I just hope, what I'm really sad about is just the hard work of, Leao and all these guys on the pitch. At least, it's their results that allow us to get to the semifinals, them running, scoring these goals. They should have Redbird should have the decency at least to reinvest and help these guys out and not use their accomplishments to pay for their debts, right? I feel like to be able to pay your stupid ass debts, You generate money on the old, the other stuff you're doing around the branding and all that stuff, putting in the work. But for people on the field, meaning the on the field stuff, it should be reinvested on the field by bringing the quality players, helping them out. And I just don't have a good feeling. And it just, I'm gonna wait and see. I just wish Brad Pitt never did the Moneyball movie because I blame him now. I blame Brad Pitt for all this mess. I blame Brad Pitt for that's my closing freaking statement, man. But hey, if you guys need to watch more football, there's the Female World Cup. It's coming in August. New Zealand, Australia, go USA.
What? Can you guys explain something to me? Because
Or the U21 Euros.
Yeah, but U21 Euros is definitely watching. Okay, what
Yeah,
is
but
this?
And
like
under
when
19 Euro.
Say again?
U19 Euro also.
Yeah,
Oh,
but the
that's coming
Female
up
World
too?
Cup is lit. Yeah, Female World Cup. I see you rocking the jersey. Go USA.
This is my Megan Rapinoe jersey.
I have
guys.
a question for you guys because I'm not familiar with this some of this internet fads or whatever. So what's up with when you see these videos of women playing football and they do like really stupid mistakes, and then you see the woman and the emoji of a coffee cup? Like, what is that coffee cup? What does that mean?
No, it's the tea. So I think it's the teacup. The
Okay.
teacup. I think that's if I'm not mistaken, it's because of Alex Morgan. She's scared. She's scared. She has the celebration. She
Oh yeah, she
scored
goes
against.
like this. Yeah.
Yeah, she does the teacup. So she scored against England because they drink tea during the World Cup, and she did that celebration. Like she scored I think not the winning goal,
So
but
it's
like the
pissed
first
off
goal.
Brits.
So it pisses off like the English people. So they'll have like the tea drink.
Fuck them.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Hans, closing statement.
No, I'm just joking. I'm just joking. We need everybody in this. Yeah, it doesn't look good, but I do think there will be light at the end of the tunnel. Maybe Maldini will come back. Maybe I don't know. Maybe this will work out somehow. I gotta hold on to something because I can't see us go back to the banter era. I really can't after this shit. I mean, it will be a ridiculous fall from grace to think that we came all this way in like a few years. We had Zlatan, Maldini, and then we pissed it all away with some Billy Bean, Magic Beans bullshit,
Zelus Analytics, guys, Moneyball. We are the Oakland Athletics.
Yeah. So
Hang on, Sans. I have something that'll help you.
I'm doing my spreadsheets, trying to show how we can spend 35 million and accurately do this shit and not fuck up. I'm sending them in the group chat all the time. So join us, you guys. Just don't
like
look
10
at the
spreadsheets
pics.
per day, you guys. You're gonna get 10 spreadsheets per day.
Just block safe and you'll be okay. Just block safe.
Don't block safe. Don't block. Don't lie.
Don't block him, guys. Tag him.
Tag him. Just tag him.
And you'll be okay. There's an inside joke in the chat about Albania and all the wonderful Milan fans from there, especially one named Floki, who's too much of a coward to show his face on the lives. But we'll
Floki, don't be a coward, Floki.
I had to end it on a positive note, guys.
The WhatsApp chat is
I
becoming
thought it was
something.
Andon who did that.
This is what I'm talking about. Basically, every time I see like women do stupid shit at football, people comment this.
Yeah, man. Everyone's
You
an
should have
incel.
put the phone up and then showed the video. You should have put the phone up to the screen.
Don't
Or
worry,
the
guys. Even if you
camera.
leave the chat, you can join again. Hans once left the chat. Now he's back with us.
I've left it
Yeah,
many
yeah.
times.
I've left
many
it
times.
too and come back to
Can you see this? Can you see this guy? This is Floki's uncle right here. USA.
You are my best friend. You are the peacekeeper. You are the legend.
I don't know how you found that song, but that is
Clint sent that to me.
What?
Oh, it's Clint's fault. Fuck you, Clint.
How do you know about this?
Hey, listen. I follow a lot. Albanians,
You follow
man.
this guy?
No, I don't even follow him, bro. My algorithm. It's just like The gods.
The algorithm, guys.
Yo,
That's the
hey,
algorithm.
help me.
The
now
money-
I have
Moneyball.
complete faith in Billy Bean analytics
Moneyball.
and the algorithms. You just
Billy
gave me a
Boner,
really-
guys.
I'm so happy we did this live. I have a renewed sense of faith in the data
guys,
analytics.
What do you think
this
is
live was
After
definitely
that.
therapeutic.
I mean, if you can find that clip for
while
Floki,
you're at work?
while you're at work, even man, AI is. Who the fuck is
Or
Maldini?
act-
We have AI. We got
I want the
1
same
million
job as
Maldinis
Queen. I want
working
the same
simultaneously.
Okay.
Correction, Ernesto, we're not making fun of women. I was just saying that when there's some videos of like women playing football and they're like, someone passes the ball to the goalkeeper,
We were asking
and the
the
ball just
teacup.
goes between her legs, those kind of videos. I see a lot of this comment right here, like thousands of these. I just don't know what it means. That's what I was asking.
Come on, guys. Don't
Your,
get
your algorithm's getting infected by incels, dude, and women haters who can't get any
right.
pussy like Hans.
Don't
from
come
other
to
profile.
Sweden
Hans,
with that
that's you.
mentality.
That's
Don't come
Hans
to
writing
Sweden.
from another profile.
No, never. I would be kicked out of Sweden.
Hans has an Andrew Tate profile that he comments that.
I would lose my passport, and I already gave up my American one, so I would be homeless, stateless, abandoned.
Sweden is pretty crazy. Is it true
No,
that
it's not.
sex
It's
is
amazing.
a sport now over there?
Oh,
No,
yeah.
that
Hans
is
the world
complete
champion
fake
there.
news, as
Hans is the
usual.
world champion there.
Fox fake news or
Hans.
CNN fake news?
Hans, you could come to the Caribbean, okay? Don't worry. You could always come to the
Yes.
Caribbean.
That's nice.
There we go. I like the weather there. I'm Floridian, so it's the same shit.
All right, guys. Listen, everybody, thank you for joining us today. Thank you, everybody in chat, for being with us. Make sure that you click that like button on your way out. Make sure you subscribe. The news is every day, guys, so we'll try and cover it every day. Thank you, everybody, for being here. And, guys, we'll see you tomorrow. We'll see everybody tomorrow.
All right.
So
Thanks,
have
Roy.
a great day wherever you are. Forza
Forza
Milan
Milan, guys.
and Forza Maldini.
Forza Man
Forza
City.
Milan.
Forza Man City.
Maldini.
Oh, Forza Man City.
Forza Man City.
Forza Inter.
Oh my
Fuck
God.
you up.
All right,
That's
guys.
right.
Have
The
a
final
good-
is tomorrow, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right.
All right.
All right. All right. Have a
Forza
good
Man
one, brother.
City.
Peace.